Oh, he's got the lollies, the pineapples. Oh, fuck, I could go a pineapple right now.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, boss. Oh. Yum, 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 yum.
I've been so addicted to pineapples recently.
Well, you just been, every time you come home, you get a bag
100%. I don't know why.
of pineapples.
Just them. Like, no other lolly.
I go past the supermarket and get this shit.
And get drugs.
And get, yeah, drugs. Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Get it every time. Pretty much. I'm like, oh, I'll quickly go back. I'll just have a little bit before dinner and then I hit the whole fucking thing. Oh, don't do that. Oh, God. How's that go again?
Hey?
Never mind. Good heavens.
Alright. Well, how you been going? Because you haven't actually caught up in a while.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. I mean, yeah, pretty good. Actually, I have exciting news for anyone who gives a shit about my PhD.
Did you get the work?
No, I got my first chapter accepted for publication.
Oh, yeah?
In a really high impact journal too.
Oh, wow, really?
So, yeah, so it's big news on
That's awesome, man.
on that front. Soon
Congrats.
there'll be people citing Holland et al. 2021.
That's exciting as, man.
How you going?
Barbering's going really well.
Yeah.
And besides, obviously, all the lockdowns that we've been dealing with, so...
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
fucked.
it's like stop-start for us, and it's all these appointments, and because lockdown goes for like 3 weeks, people are 3 weeks out of date for a haircut, and we're already moving everyone from those 3 weeks over, and we're like 2 weeks booked out, like always. You know, like you can call me, I'll be like, I may be able to squeeze you in this week if I get a cancellation, or next week, I definitely have a spot for you at some point.
Yep.
But at the moment, it's like, I've got one space left this week, and it's only because somebody cancelled and we blocked it off so we could fill it up with somebody else if need be.
Yeah. Yikes.
And I've already been asked 3 times for that spot. And I'm like, guys, like, who am I going to give it to? Either way, it's not a bad thing to have. It's good. We're busy. It's just...
Yeah, that's right. It's just, it's sort of getting to that point. Like, busy's fine, but it's that point where you're having to, you know, disappoint people, I guess.
That's right. And, like, everyone's really looking really, really fucking gross right now because of all their hair. And I just want to make everybody look beautiful.
I feel like a new man. Like, none of this... Oh, God, it was getting close. If I had left it much longer, it would have been mullet territory.
Oh, really?
It was disgusting.
Yeah, that's that. We're kicking off our little other business again, which is great. Hopefully this week, or what is it? It's Tuesday now. So hopefully this week we launch. We want to launch by Friday. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but that should be starting. We've just got some good partners on board with that. So,
which business?
Mansfield Delivers.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, we just got like a couple of other businesses as partners with us, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'm still working at Boss Taurus a little bit, just a little bit at the restaurant, but
you're a busy man.
That's just cash. Like, that's just extra pocket money for me.
How much for cash?
Yeah, not actually cash, but it's just extra pocket money. So just extra money that we can, you know, save up with. And
yeah, I know that feeling.
I've got to buy a new car, so the vessel.
Got to get rid of the ute.
The vessel has had enough.
How many Ks has the ute done?
370.
Surprised is it a Hilux?
Nah, that was my old Hilux.
Okay.
This is a Ford Courier.
Oh fucking hell!
She's done
I'm
a lot.
surprised it stayed alive.
She's bloody done really well. So we're gonna have to change cars.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm selling that, and you know, trade it in for something. Don't know what yet, but I'm trying.
Don't
to
know what you
out.
get for it, but you know, trade it.
Well, minimum trading was 2K. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's definitely not worth that. I reckon. If
Don't tell them that.
Oh, they're fine. They're like, it's worth $500, but we'll honor our 2 mil. 2 mil.
2 mil.
We'll honor
it's a reliable car. We'll give you 2 mil for it.
Trade it, and I'm like, oh, you guys are the best. So,
2 million baht.
2 million bloody rune skimmies.
overdue bill and GP.
So that's good. That's sort of what's going on for us.
Yep. Bright. Keep, positive, I guess.
Yeah.
Make the most of a shitty situation.
I had a little bit of an epiphany the other day where I was like, what's the point of looking at everything like so negatively? Like, all I was doing was getting up and being like, fuck today, like, fuck this, like, everything sucks, lockdown, no lockdown, COVID all the time, like, appointments going wrong, or people cancelling, or literally every tiny little thing just made me look at things so badly. But the truth is, if you look at anything, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, anything, negatively, it's going to look shit. Doesn't matter how good it is. But if you look at everything with a positive light, well, even the worst thing, you can sort of spruce it up a little bit and make it easier to sort of choke on and to comprehend. So I was just like, I spend too much of my time being negative about stuff, and it's just not worth it. Like, if I literally just force myself to be happier and just be like, hey, things...
That's a hard one.
I know it's hard, but
I don't know if you can force yourself to be happy.
No, it's not. Sorry, let me reiterate. Not force yourself to be happy, but force yourself to actually take the good things that are happening, because good things happen all day.
Yeah.
And look at those and cater to those the
It's
same way.
funny you say that.
Yeah.
So, my... this psychologist I've been seeing, she, because I was just feeling shit, basically. And a lot of basically the same thing. A lot of it stemmed from me just focusing really hard on the negatives, being really self-critical. You probably noticed that in me a bit, I think. Like, I instantly sort of assume the worst of myself. And and that's something I got to work on. But one of the things she...
Bit of performance
sort of exercise... Yeah, you know it. Where it counts. But one of the things she's told me is like thoughts are like a sushi train, right?
Yeah.
And if you're sitting at a sushi restaurant and you see all the sushi coming around, and then you see one go past and you're like, oh, I like that. I'm gonna have that. You're like, I really like that. And you focus on it, you like the look of it. And you see one, you're like, oh, whatever, I could take or leave that one. And then every now and then one goes around and you're like, ew, what the fuck? That's disgusting. I don't want that. And you just focus on this negative. You look at that and you go, oh, I don't want that. Look at it. You watch it go past. You're like, oh, you focus far too much on it. So what she sort of put it is like, you can't control the thoughts that come, but you can control to a degree, I guess. It's a bit different. Your mileage may vary, but you can control what you focus on.
That's right.
And I understand, like, it's not quite as simple as that, but just framing it in that perspective has helped a lot. And I think as soon as you start to inherently or like concentrate, I guess, on focusing on good things and ignoring bad things as best you can, it becomes a little bit easier to keep doing that. And
that's a good way to put it. Another one is when you're driving down the road. Like, let's say you jump on the highway and you're driving down the highway, right? And you're driving for an hour. You're going somewhere far away, and some idiot comes up behind you and he bloody flies past you and speeds in front of you and bloody cuts in front of you, and you're like, oh my god, what a fucking moron, what's this guy doing? Like, dude, I was just cruising here and he's like being so aggressive, and you get really upset. Like, I get upset on the road all the time. What we don't realize is the other 100 drivers that we passed already were all staying in their lane, doing things the right way, and we didn't acknowledge that they were doing a good thing. We only acknowledged that they were doing the normal, but they weren't being crazy. They weren't being violent. They weren't doing a negative. They were just living their life, and why can't we be happy for those things?
That's so interesting,
isn't it?
There's literally in Futurama. There's a quote where he's like Bender literally meets God, and he and God says like if you do things right, you won't know. What is it? If you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact quote. I'll play it right now.
When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all.
That's so true, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, you really
just ignore all these good things.
You ignore all of these good things that we just cater to being the regular and focus on the one bad thing that happened during the day. But we had all of these little wins. And all these little wins do stack up to be a really good win for that day.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I had that random epiphany the other day, and I was like,
I like that.
I need to stop and just be positive. Because things are actually
the more
great.
you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah, and then it doesn't all just come at once, and it doesn't change you for life, but every few months you'll fall into a bit of a hump again, and then you just remember it,
recognizing
and then recognize it, and then get back on track, and it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
oh, that's a positive way to start the potty.
A little bit of we're an insight podcast now.
Yeah. So, should we
beer games and insight motivation podcast?
Yeah, we're motivational. We should play like those motivation videos those bodybuilders do. We'll play that really
so
over the top
though.
epic music.
They're so good though.
Actually, first I like saying like this looks so lame, and you listen to it and you're like, yeah, I am a king.
I can do this deadlift. I can't, but I feel like I could.
But I tried, and that's what's important.
Yeah. How true though.
So you're having you've already shown your beer.
No,
on
I've
camera,
got a
mate.
different beer. I was just drinking.
Oh, you got a different beer.
Mm.
Neck your Melbourne, because I'm getting thirsty. I want to do the great reveal.
Done.
All right. I was going to say you did say you got the clerk to pick one out for you. If it was a Melbourne
picked
bitter,
Melbourne.
I'd be like,
grab me a random beer, and he's just like, Melbourne bitter.
MB.
He never would have tried one of these.
So, what'd you get?
Righto. So I got one that I've not already had, but it's the same brand as one that I've already had. Wolf of Willows.
Ah, yes.
He
They
said,
produce the
you
goods.
got to try the pup.
The pup.
Well, it's a hazy Australian pale ale. 4%. Good little guy. Cute cans, actually.
Yeah, they're really
Sort of
cute.
like,
they do have awesome little designs in those cans.
They've got like a massive range of these. So I was like, he's definitely going to get a Wolf of the Willows. Or one of these like random massive cans that are like 30%. And you're like, they're not. They're like 8%, but whatever. But we're going to give this a crack. What do you got? Yeah. What do you got?
This is water, so not that.
Yeah, this looks like one of those vodka O things.
It's Arizona iced tea. Well, it is kind of like those vodka O things. So, you know the Moondog Brewery?
No.
They do beer. I can't remember the names of them now. But they do really good beer, right? But they also do a range of alcoholic seltzers.
Oh.
And the other day,
he's looking after his fitness.
Yeah, not really. So I drank these pretty quick. But they had this 10-pack. You get a variety pack, and they're all different flavors. You get 6 different flavors. Right. Now, I've drank all the other flavors.
Oh.
No, I've already had them all. Except I've got 2 cans left, and they're both this flavor I haven't tried yet. Is Moondog Fizzer Cocoa Mango flavor.
Cocoa mango, as in chocolate cocoa?
Yeah. No, like coconut.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so I've had tropical, which is probably my favourite, I think, so far. Raspberry sorbet, piney limey. So you've played piney limey before. There's a lemon one. I think that's it. And then cocoa mango.
Cocoa mango. All right,
so, cheers. Oh, good time.
I think it was great.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm going to like this.
It smells very pale ale-y.
Yum. That's fucking delicious.
Oh, damn. That's actually really good too.
You know what mine reminds me of? Malibu.
Oh,
It's so yummy.
Coconut rum. That's, this is really nice. That's so smooth.
Yeah?
Yeah, like...
Man, I don't know if there's anywhere that sell those up here. I'm going to have a rummage around.
It's like,
order some.
Obviously it's like pale ale, like hoppy in the mouth.
Yeah.
And there's like the tiniest little bit of sour, like bitter taste. You know, that tiny little bit of beer bitter taste.
What you want,
but it's not too much. But it really is. It's just as smooth as it gets. This is probably the best beer that I've had on podcast.
Whoa.
Like as a
Chef's
tester.
kiss?
Yeah. A vet's kiss.
Your Betty's kiss.
Your Betty's kiss. So good. Wow, way.
Nice. Wow.
Yum.
Even more positives.
Yep. Look at that. You know what? I had a really good beer earlier. A Melbourne.
Oh, That's a beer.
Even this one's good. That one was also good. That's
Actually,
two good beers.
I
How great.
unironically really like Melbourne Bitter.
Yeah, me
I
too. I love it.
I actually think it's a funny. It's like most of those other Carlton Brewery beers are just dog shit. But
it's the same cost as Carlton Draft, and it's like 3 times better.
Yes, so much better. But it's still got that. I don't know. I can't explain it.
And I mean,
Jeez,
like, you can't beat a cold VB on a hot summer's day by the water, by the lake.
You can.
You can't.
You can very easily beat.
But if you had a Melbourne Bitter, it could be any day, also that day, and they're still good.
Yeah, exactly. When you go to VB, buy MB.
Yeah. Because you know it's better than all of Vic. Just Melbourne.
Yeah. Shout out to Melbourne.
Shout out to lockdown.
Yeah. We're thinking of you, Melbourne, right now.
We really are. Poor buggers. Protest, hey?
No, I don't even want to talk about it.
No, me either.
It makes me cringe. I get vaccinated my second dose in 2 days too, by the way.
Very good, very good. I'm second vax on the 10th. Oh, the 11th of the 9th. Wait, the 23rd of the 10th. That was when I got it.
11th of the 9th. I'm like, you think you missed it, mate?
Ah, shit!
Only 2 weeks ago.
God damn. All right, ham fam. This one was Owen's pick, so I'll let him do all of the talking, hey?
Well, so this was like part of our little, last week Paul picked the Black Sun, the Blood Moon, by Awaken Providence.
Last month at this point.
Last month. Fuck, why did I say last week? It wasn't even close to last week. I put it out last week.
Maybe. I don't even think it was like 2 weeks ago you put it out.
Oh, yeah, it might have even been longer, yeah.
It was so long ago.
That turned out to be a pretty good one. Bit long,
it was a good podcast. So long.
But we had a lot to say. So anyway, that went well. It was Paul, and that was like a little experiment where we would each pick an album, and then not like one we know very, very well, and the other knows of, basically. And then each listen to it, do our little chat, and
give it our due diligence.
Yeah. And so for mine, I initially was going to do another one that was a Australian band, but I realized I don't actually know the album that I was initially going to do super well. And so I'm like, well, what's one I know that Paul doesn't know really well and I know really well? Because there's not a lot, to be honest. Most of the albums, like not all, but
we've generally communicated them, hey? I'm like, hey, check this out. Or you're like, hey, check this out. Yeah.
So, but then I thought about this album we're going to do today, because I discovered it not too long after it came out, and it really surprised. This band has been around for a while, and I cannot believe this is the first time I heard them. So I instantly fell in love with it, and then the rest is history. Today we're looking at the album P4 Hail Stan by Periphery.
Periphery.
Periphery. Fuck Periphery. They're a band formed in 2005 in Washington, D.C., USA. They're a djent band. Let's not kid ourselves. They make quite an appearance on the old djent shit posting Facebook group.
Djent shit posting, hey.
Yeah.
You bad boy.
Shout out to djent shit posting.
Yeah. Shout out to djent shit posting.
Misha Mansour is actually in it. And
probably a moderator at this point.
Oh, look, man, he's a funny bastard, that Misha.
He's funny.
Every now and then he'll just like post something. Like he'll shit post in it. Like he's not just lurking, he'll be like, you just be scrolling through, it'll be like Misha Mansour, djent shit posting. You're like, oh my god, here we go again. Yeah.
They're always pretty funny too.
Oh, it's super funny. So yeah, they're like a djent band, progressive metalcore, I guess. I don't know, that kind of vibe. Currently,
what is their genre?
Oh man, there's just something else strange. It's also like a little pet band. Like it's just Misha's project that just went out of control.
Yeah.
So
baby band.
Currently, the members of the band is, of course, Misha Mansour, guitarist and founder of the band, and also does just about everything else in the he has a crack at just about everything in the band. Vocalist Spencer Saltello. Other guitarists, Jake Bowen and Mark Holcomb, and Matt Halpern on drums. And the past members include guitarist Anthony Marshall and Alex Boys, literally spelled B-O-I-S.
Oh, yeah, boys.
Boys. Vocalist.
He's one of the Hamboys. He doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, he doesn't know it. Vocalist Jake Veredica, or also known as Jacob Tull. Casey Sabol and Chris Barretto. Drummers Jason Berlin and Travis Orban. And bassists Tom Murphy and Adam Nolly get good. And Nolly is sort of still kind of plays with them in a way. Like he recorded the bass for this album, and I think tours with them a bit. Like I think he's like the unofficial member always, you know.
So, actually, did you know that they had Jared Dines actually play in one of their concerts?
Oh, really?
No.
Jesus, talk about... Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, got ya.
Got me good, because I was... Well, it's believable, because it's just pure meme content.
Oh, another gent shit posting queen.
Jared Dines. Oh, God.
Owen and I started up this little joke that every time we say, did you know, and we'd say something... It'd be like one of those facts that's probably not real or it could be real, and we could trick each other by either pretending it's sort of like it could be real or not. So
that was a good one.
That was a good one.
I fully believed it, yeah.
I just made it up on the spot. So.
That was really good then. So the album P4, or Periphery 4, Hail Stan, they released it on April 5th, 2019. It was their first album not under a record label. They departed from Sumerian Records and
that was Sumerian,
made an independent label. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They made this independent label called 3 Dot Recordings. It was received pretty well in fact, extremely well across the board. Most places were looking at marks of like 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 7.
5 out of 7? Full
some
marks?
10 out of 10s. Yeah, like actual full marks. Like, yeah, they did really, really well across the board. I think, you know, between fans, like I'm relatively a newcomer to Periphery, but between fans, it is still pretty well received. But I think a lot of Periphery purists, I say that 10 times fast, they sort of will be like, oh no, this is shit compared to their old stuff. Like, but then they can never decide on which old stuff is the best, you know? They're like, oh yeah, P2 is the best. And it's just like, no, the Juggernaut albums are the best. It's like, mate, kids, you're both just terrible. Periphery fans just, I think a little bit hit or miss, but mostly, once again, quite well received. It actually, it was number 21 in the ARIAs, the Australian music charts.
Fuck, that's so good.
Yeah, when it, like, for I don't know how long, but it hit that. That was its top billing for that, and then it hit number 1 on Billboard's US independent albums. So obviously, like, it's kind of cheating because they went from being on a record label to being independent. So they already had obviously a massive following, and
but of course,
still number 1. They earned it.
Regardless, they still had a lot of following. So
yeah. And then
one way or another, that's a positive, right?
Yeah, we've got positives here. I love this positive attitude we've got going right now.
That's good.
And then on the album they had Randy. Now I can't remember how to pronounce his name. I think it's Sloth.
Randy Orton
or Slow even. Randy Slow, I think it might be.
Not Orton.
Not Randy Orton. Was it? What's Randy Orton out of nowhere? So yeah, they brought on, I think it's Randy Slow. So he's known for working with a lot of different other metalcore bands and metal bands and alternative acts and stuff. So he's worked with Architects, Thy Art Is Murder. I think he's coming up on the newest Amity Affliction album. So, and he's
I've heard some teasers of that new Amity album. It sounded pretty nice.
Yeah, I haven't listened to their latest single yet, but that last album surprised me. Like, didn't love the album. Yeah, the one before that, I was like, ugh. And then
the last songs that were quite cool.
And the one before the last one?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
The most recent one I did like.
We should know.
Yeah, well, we should.
We've made contact with old mate Mr. Brown, so
yeah, Danny boy. But yeah, so this guy Randy Slow, he's a composer. He composes orchestral pieces for metal bands basically, and so
That's awesome.
Because I saw him on the thing, on like the personnel for the thing. I'm like, okay, I had a look at his rap sheet, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, you're like, man, he worked with some good guys.
Shit, yeah,
It's cool.
and yeah, that's pretty much a summary of the band and the album in 100 or 500 words or less.
30 minutes or less.
We'll cover lots of little tidbits as we go on through the album, I'm sure. So,
Tits.
anything you wanted to say, mate?
No.
All right, let's get not yet. Let's get stuck into it then. Righto, mate. Song numero uno. Reptile.
Reptile, my god.
Reptile, how about that?
The longest fucking song in the world.
17 minutes. First song of the
so
album.
So long. Like, we always talk about like intros and outros of like if it was a good intro, if it was a good outro.
Yeah.
It was a good intro. Mm-hmm. But it was long. It was long.
Really long.
Right.
I think for me, what helped me sort of... when I first listened to this album from the start to finish, I sort of didn't realise that this was one song.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, because it comes in like movements, Like there's maybe like three
or
four
whole album
acts
does,
to the song.
The whole album has...
That's true.
Moments, and you're like... Okay.
Yeah. And they're quite distinctive.
Oh, okay, this is a piece.
Yeah. So I didn't even notice that I was listening to a 17-minute song until I went like, that was fun. Went back to the start and went, what the fuck? That is a 17-minute song.
I really like that bit.
Yeah, like that
what
one song.
This?
Yeah, hang on a minute, that can't be right.
I've almost finished my drive.
Yeah. Let me start with this. All right. I told you that, like, that I just didn't realize it was one big song. I thought it was a bunch of different ones. But I think what makes it so good is it's got a little bit of everything. Like, we almost said that, I think, like in the last album we reviewed, that we looked at, by Awaken Providence, we said how the I Adversary, the intro on the album, gave you a little taste of what was to come. And I think Reptile does the same thing. Obviously, it stretches it out over a lot longer.
Over 17 minutes.
Yeah, but, you each movement, like, it starts a little unique, but then it gets into, like, your sort of traditional heavy stuff, more technical sort of weird timing, traditional djent stuff, and then you come across, like really pretty sections, like, I don't know.
Really orchestrated pieces as well.
Yeah, literally.
Very
there's like
orchestrated pieces.
There's an orchestral part in it. Man, every movement is distinct, but still blends together really well. So despite the fact that I initially didn't realize the first time I heard it that I was listening to one song, it still blended well together. Like, I just felt like they were just songs flowing into each other. So, and it does a good job of balancing, the soft parts and the heavy parts. Like, it doesn't feel like it's jarring between them, but works well together. It's just this big journey you're going on.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a longer song than most other songs that we listen to, but I've got so many more points in this song than I do for just about anything else I've written.
Really? Yeah, because it's long.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But, like, even in that standard, more than all of them. Like, not just on this album, like on any other album that I've written stuff about.
Really?
That we've reviewed. My points are like, there is like fucking heaps, man. This song gives me some straight up Little Piece of Heaven vibes. Right?
Oh.
Like, when I was hearing it at the start, I was like, what?
That is the... actually hit the nail on the head, haven't you?
That it was. And I was like, hang on a minute. Is that what I'm hearing right here? You know what I mean?
Like, wrong album?
Yeah, 100%. But obviously, you got that real slow start to get into it. But it does get into it.
So true.
Yeah, super A Little Piece of Heaven. Who does that?
Avenged Sevenfold.
That's it.
Because it's the same sort of stuff. It's like the quiet parts, the heavy parts.
Yeah, that's right.
Orchestral bits.
I think the way the whole album's conducted is taking a lot of elements from a lot of different places. Because there's obviously a bit of Avenged Sevenfoldy here. Later on in one of the songs, he's got like a bit of like an Animals as Leaders moment where I was just like, that is... I wonder
which one that is. I'm excited
Animals
to
as
hear
Leaders. Like, straight up.
You know,
that's some toes in a Barsi.
Misha used to... I don't know if he was a official member of the band, but he's definitely like helped their album. Yeah, like he played with them and stuff.
There you go. Like, obviously there's some sort of overlap in there, but either way, this song is very, very musically impressive the whole way through.
Certainly is.
I have struggled with this album. I don't. Not
your cup of tea, though.
It's not my cup of tea. I'm not saying it's a bad album in any sense.
Yeah.
I struggled very, very highly with this album.
Yeah.
It's had a lot of moments that really confused me, and generally the moments that confuse me are moments that in another band, in another album, I'd really quite like, which is quite weird. The drums in this song, the drums in Reptile are great the whole way through. They're just they're creative as. Right?
They're creative, that's what
they're creative. Yeah. They're parts that you're just like, oh, that was fun. What was that? Oh, I want to actually hear that again because I want to hear how he did that, as a drummer. I struggle with the vocals.
That's interesting you say that. A lot of people say that about Spencer. For me, his vocals is what drew me to Periphery.
Yeah, cool. That
was one of the major things. I was like, wow, this guy's got pipes. Tell me what you struggle with him.
So
with the vocals.
So I find that the chords or his actual vocals in a piece. So for instance, what Periphery, at least in this album, what they've done. And I haven't listened to any other Periphery. I had barely even listened to this one until we picked this as a thing. I hadn't heard them before this. So this is like all off the bat of me listening to this album and going, okay, this is Periphery. Spencer, he's got some pipes. He can definitely sing. I personally find that with a particular riff that they do, whether it be the tonality of it, the heaviness of it, or the cleanness of the riff, his chords and his key don't exactly follow the way I feel they should follow. And I think he does that for a reason or for a purpose. I think that's the sound that they're going for. But for me, I don't like it.
That's interesting.
Because I hear it and it sets me off because, like they're down in this key and they're trying to drive, like build a big body for the sound, a big body for the music in that part, in that moment. And then he's up here doing something different. That just doesn't make sense in my brain.
Wow.
And they also do a lot of choruses, which is crazy because,
some of them.
A lot of metal do choruses.
Yeah.
A lot of deathcore sometimes do choruses, but a lot of deathcore doesn't do choruses. They just move through the song into different pieces and segments and whatever. Whereas Periphery are doing a lot of choruses. A lot of the songs have choruses.
It's pretty unusual for a djent band too to have choruses. Usually
100%.
They're just such a weird progressive thing that they don't do it.
It's sort of like in rap. It's like the hook for the song. Hey.
Yeah.
But in this, it's the
exactly
hook for the song. For Periphery, it sounds like the hook for the song. It's that one that you can hear that and go, I know what song this is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean by chorus, I guess. So what have I got written here? Vocals are not for me. Sing Scream isn't the sound I like. Chorus is part of the sound. Has parts that sound great, but then parts that I hate and that frustrates me. Right?
Especially frustrating when you got 17 minutes to sample from there.
Yeah. But like a lot of parts of the song were really good. Like a lot of the transitions for the entire album are great, but this song obviously displays all of that and I played. At 5 minutes in, there must be something in the water is a lyric that he says. It reminds me of the Transistor, the game soundtrack. The moment when he changes that at 5 minutes, Transistor. Look it up on Steam. It had this same company that made Bastion. It's like this tiny little sort of like story game where you do all this little thing and it's sort of like cyberpunky style thing. Fucking rad, right? One of the songs on that playlist, it's on Spotify. Look up Transistor soundtrack on Spotify. it sounds very similar to that. It's giving me like the exact same vibes of the way he sort of sings, and I kind of like that because I really like the Transistor soundtrack.
Okay.
Yeah, that was dope. And you'd actually really like that soundtrack.
Must be something in the water. Yeah. Okay. It looks like a cool game too. It already looks kind of like Hades.
Really cool game, man. Really, really cool game. I've got at 10 minutes in, it gets more my sound musically. It's got like a little bit of a djenty beat, starts getting a bit boppy. Obviously, you guys know I like a bit more of a movement and a boppiness to my djent or to my breakdowns and things like that, because they get you sort of like pumped up a little bit. And there's a little bit of like a guitar shred over the top. It sounds really good, goes really well with the song. But then I feel like that piece goes for a little bit too long, and they drag it out a bit long. And I was like, it really does sound good, but then yeah, and I was
it does go for a while.
That sounds sick. Like that does.
And where you think it's going to finish, then a guitar solo starts.
Yeah,
keeps going.
The guitar solo goes, and you're like, oh, that's cool. That like little shred's great. But then it keeps going again, and you're like, okay, stop now. Like I've had enough of that. And then after that, they transition to like this melodic orchestra sort of moment, and it doesn't fit with what they just did. It sort of like really cuts you off.
No, I disagree. I think it goes so well together. Like
that's fair enough, man.
You're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion is wrong. No, that's. I understand. It is jarring, at least, or it's a pretty harsh juxtaposition, at least, between those two things.
And this is where I'm saying, like, obviously, music is subjective. This is my opinion only, and you may love it, you may hate it. It's up to you. I don't really give a fuck, but but for me, it was like, come in, I was like, what the hell? You just did this like crazy little riff thing that took forever to get through, which I was super excited about. Then you've let me down with it. Now you're going into this orchestrated thing, and I'm like, what the hell?
Just while you're on it though, because I think it blends well together because of the guitar solo, because it sort of trails off.
Yeah, but the guitar solo stops, to my memory. The guitar solo does
it goes like,
bit, and then it stops.
But it goes like, and then on that finishing note, the orchestra comes in, so that the breakdown heavy stuff stops in the background as soon as that last note's hitting the solo, and then it's like do 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 do.
Yeah,
and
that's fair enough, man. You may like that, but
I've listened to this song a lot of times, so I've maybe picked up like
that's
that.
Right. I didn't like that sound coming through, like, and I listened to this album quite a fair bit for the last few months now.
Yeah, you know it now. You know it.
I know it, and it was still a struggle.
Sorry,
to get through.
I won't interrupt again.
That's all right. No, you're not interrupting.
Get excited about this album.
It's a conversation what we're doing here. So, but it does thicken up at about 12 minutes 30 again, and it's really nice.
And that's where it breakdown part.
Oh, that's sort of like midway for the song. 12 minutes 30 starts to thicken up, and then you get this sort of like, you get this really like ambient thing coming in, and that I really liked. Yeah, in there after it gets a bit heavier, comes up after that orchestrated bit, and then that ambient part comes in. I really like the sound of that.
Super djent like.
At it was really cool. At 14 minutes, there was a really good contrast between. This is how I had to place it out because it was a fucking long song.
Yeah, literally, it was a long fucking song.
At about 14 minutes into it, I enjoyed the contrast between the melody and the heavy riff, and the vocals really worked at this moment. I will quickly say, I think the biggest downfall of the whole album for me, the part that I didn't resonate with enough, was the vocals.
Yep.
Right? So
fascinating.
Where I'm making points about the vocals is where I'm saying this actually sounded really good musically.
Yeah. This is the
vocals,
exception.
Yeah. And then it ends on a really big heavy djent part, which is about 14 minutes, almost at 15 minutes. And that was really good. I really like that. And then
me too.
I've written here yet again, 15 minutes in, song is still going, as I'm trying to review it, or make a conversation about it. We don't review things here anymore. We converse.
We just have a conversation.
We just have a conversation about them.
It's pretty much done at 15 minutes.
I'll say at 15 minutes, and then right at the end, the last minute, it feels like I'm sitting in a car and the car has fallen off a bridge and it's in the water, with how ambient and how around me it is. Right?
That's a really interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, it was cool as. Like, I remember the last part, I was like, whoa, this is such a... It's like a... It was like this isolated... You know when you like put a shell in your ear?
Yeah,
and you can hear the sound, but it's also muffled?
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like just being underwater in
Compressed.
a car or in a box. Was it compressed in this thing? And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
They do a lot of strange things at the end of some of their songs, and that was one of them.
I'd say that Periphery are the Kendrick Lamar of metal.
I don't know about that, only because, like, maybe musically, but I think Kendrick Lamar takes himself a little bit more seriously than Periphery do. Like, I think Periphery is sort of like, well, we're already really good musicians. Let's not take this too seriously. They deliver on their music, but then they also, you can just tell that they're just having a blast here. They're not too stressed.
And that's all it's about.
And whereas I feel like guys like Kendrick Lamar, I'm just like, this guy knows he's good at what he does, and he doesn't pretend he's not.
Yeah, but he also takes the piss in his own sense.
Does he?
Yeah.
I can't think of it. Yeah, well.
Listen to anything off the new album. Listen to the end. I don't even know what the song is.
Is Damn still his latest release?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I haven't followed much of Kendrick Lamar. I just listened to a lot of his older stuff, and I know he just liked to act these moments where you're like, what the fuck's going on in this song? This is not
his older shit.
This is not what I'm hearing.
Fuck, he's good.
Yeah, he is good though. Great rapper.
Yeah.
I gave this song a 6 out of 10. I think it had very, very great moments, but I also feel like I just didn't resonate with the sound a lot. So
fair enough. I've said most of what I want to say, and also jumped in with you. It was good that you went through it like systematically, so I could.
Because it was timed.
Jump in, yeah. There's a cool part in it at the 12-minute mark you were talking about. It's where a bit of the orchestral bit comes in, and he goes like, is it, the claim they stake, a land from us they take. That exact part, different lyrics, pops up in another song in this album. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't notice.
Well, I'll keep that in my back pocket, and I'll bring it up later when it does come up. But I didn't notice the first time, or the 7th time. Like, I noticed it like after many, many re-listens, and I was I think I was listening to the song that it comes up again, and I was just like, this sounds familiar, but I don't know why. I was like, oh shit, it's from Reptile.
It's from the other song.
Anyway, I'll bring it up when it comes up.
Cheeky.
This wasn't the first song I heard off this album, but it was the song that really made me go, holy crap, this is pretty special to me. And I give it a 10 out of 10.
Whoa, wow.
This is my first 10 on this.
Jesus Christ.
On this podcast.
Wow, wait.
I think I've never not listened to it, and just like, especially because it finishes with that freaking awesome breakdown. I just sit there like, fuck, what a song. And like every time and I hear it, all the different parts of it, I have a really big soft spot for just long songs in general. So this really resonates me with that regard. Like, my favorite Light Dispute song is The Last Lost Continent. And I was a big Tool, and still I am a big Tool fan for, and that's all like long ass weird songs. The longer the song, the better in my eyes. It's more of it to enjoy. So this one, that already ticks that box, and then there's a lot of stuff in it I love, and it's got, this, how do you pronounce it? It's a recurring theme. Is it, leitmotiv? Light?
Sure.
Oh, I can't remember. Leitmotif? I can't remember how to pronounce it. But that's effectively, that bit in it where it repeats later on in a different song. Like, that kind of shit I'm all about. Periphery do that a fair bit, actually. In a different album, they did the same thing. But anyway.
Where they talk about a certain moment, or they replay a certain moment?
No, not necessarily like content-wise, but like musically.
Okay.
So a good example of I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but a leitmotif, or whatever it is like the Imperial March in Star Wars being associated with Darth Vader.
Gotcha.
So it reoccurs thematically and stuff. And obviously there's no Darth Vader behind this, but
yeah, but it's
you recognize
musically
the melody and
yeah. That's cool.
So yeah,
That's cool.
This is my first 10 for this podcast, and I cannot get enough of this song. It's probably my most. I think it was actually my most played song on Spotify.
Wow.
The year I started listening to it.
That's crazy. Hey, what we should do is after 100 podcasts, we can go and get BK, you and me, and get every 10 that we have that we've given a 10 to, and we can have a battle of the 10s, because we'll get perspectives of some more people, and then we'll be my 10 versus your 10, and who's the better song out of all of the people that we pick.
Wow.
And then we'll have it, and who has the best 10s.
That is a good idea.
What do you think?
I'm down with that. We can't, if it's me, you, and I guess it depends how many 10s we give, because it's not like there's going to be 100 10s.
Nah, but they'll be if I have 3, you have 3, and BK has 3, and then we just battle off my 3 against your 3. Or we all pick 10 10 10s, or 8 10s, and then we just take 3 at each other and
the 10s of the 10s.
See if we can beat each other's potential guesses.
That sounds awesome. All right, we should do that.
All right.
All right.
Let's move on to number 2.
Numero dos, Blood Eagle.
Blood Eagle.
Yeah.
I'll start this one, hey?
You start, yeah.
My first dot point is slaps.
Slapped it.
It slaps. This song is mad. Starts off heavy and fun, really great pacing. Obviously, this song is one of the more djenty, full songs on the album. So I did like this one quite a lot. Vocals sound really good with this one. So I think the way he does his cleans and his screams sort of work really well. He sort of does these screams into cleans into screams in certain parts at the start of the song.
Yeah,
and they sound really nice. They mix really well with the music, with the weight of the music. They've got some really off timing and unexpected moments throughout this song, where you just these little licks, drum licks, guitar licks that sort of go off, and you're like, "Ooh, that was cool! I caught that!" I get that. I catch that one. There is a little chant in the chorusy part. No, it's not in the chorus. There's a little chant in it. Whoa, dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah,
that
I know
bit.
what you're talking about.
Whoa, I didn't like that.
Okay.
I like the music around it.
Rip the body from the bone now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's, the music is just awesome, cool, fucking heavy.
That
and
also is, but you don't like the
but the actual chant to it, that part, didn't like it at all. And I feel like it sort of took away from the heaviness of the riff in that moment.
A little bit,
for me.
No, I get what you mean.
But then they add a lot of little melodic bits into the guitars over the top of the movement, the heaviness of it, which I really liked as well. They've got a soft bridge in between that sort of goes all over the place, but then it ends with that same chant again. A little bit after that, sort of drown the bodies from the bodies, whatever he says. You were about to say it.
Yeah, I was literally trying to think of what it was.
Something bodies from the bodies.
It's drag the bodies,
from
strip the body
booties.
From the bone now, I think.
Oh, yeah,
strip the body from the bone now.
Yeah, the chant there, and then he does another chant after when he's singing, and I'm sort of he stretches it out. But the vocals go heavy there again. It sort of sounds good again, and then sort of up and down with the vocals. But anyway,
yeah.
Has this moment before the end part of the song. I'll say the last third of the song is the end part of the song, right? And there's a moment before it where he goes really, really punk style, right? At least it sounds punky to me. The music, the vocals in it, very punky, and I'm not a fan of that. Interesting off-time change at 4 minutes. Interesting. Can't get my head around it. But the rest of the song is fucking rad. Okay. The last breakdown's super, super build up, and then the little minor tone, high tone plucks at the end with the last and it breakdown.
Changes.
Yeah,
every...
it's just woo, and
and then it's just
whoa.
Yeah, it does weird shit.
It's the same pitch as the squeal in the first in the intro of the song.
The first
that one. It's like the same pitch as those, but it's like a plucked tone between the djenty ending. That was really cool hearing that and being like, oh yeah, I got you. You picked the same pitch as the other squeals that you've got going on in there. That was cool. That was super cool. And obviously the end of the song drags on for a little bit too, but it's that cool sort of breakdown. So
I wonder if that punky bit you're talking about, it's not the chorus part where he's like,
let me find it.
Call out the tide of Valkyries, the land is ours to claim.
It's not that.
Okay, good, because that's like my favourite bit.
It would be. Yeah, it is that bit.
You.
Something about the fire.
You're fucked, mate. That's the best bit of the song.
Not for me. The best bit of the song was the ending for me, and the start. The start was actually fucking sick. The start, his vocals.
It sounded like you were taking a jab at it by saying the best bit was the ending, when you actually mean the best bit was pretty cool. It was the ending.
The best bit was the ending and the start.
Yeah.
But the actual ending and the start. So.
Pulls a Trevsy.
Look at your start good and end good. The middle doesn't matter.
What rating did you give it?
What
do you want me to talk about mine first? 7. Yeah.
7 out of 10.
Good. So it's such a, especially compared to most of the album, actually, it's probably one of the heavier ones, both musically and thematically. Yeah, it's a lot of djent elements in it. Like, I really sort of stick to those like djent roots in this, and you were saying like you have some weird timings, which is definitely true of this song. Like,
yeah, timings are weird.
In a couple of bits,
there's a lot of their timings though. Repeat a lot of their riffs.
I'm not counting them enough to know. Oh, the riffs for sure, but I don't know about the timings, because like there's a bit in it where it's just like, oh God, I'm not even going to begin to try and count it, but like it's more of like a alternating picking thing, but it's the timings like. So I'm trying to keep up, and then I'm like, oh, that was something weird. There's some polyrhythm.
Like last quarter when it's like. That
is also another bit. It's like.
Yeah.
Like that's different. They're two different timings. They've just gone, oh, we'll play the same riff, but we'll play it in two different timings and see if anyone notices. Well, I fucking noticed, Misha. I like it.
Yeah, it was good.
Tell us about, because I don't really know much about it because I haven't seen Vikings, but tell us about the Blood Eagle and where the song takes its namesake, and also describes pretty viscerally in this song.
What I know of a Blood Eagle is an old Viking thing that they do to like somebody of, I guess it's like, I think it might have been like the royalty of the Vikings. So like their earls or like their higher ups, their leaders, their chiefs.
I thought they did it to like their enemies.
Well, they do it to whatever it is.
Christians,
whoever they
like
do
the
it
Christian
to.
royalty that they were fighting against.
I think it's somebody with power that has betrayed them some way, shape, or form. Because it's a punishment. And because everyone's like fair to go to Valhalla together, it's punishment on the way to Valhalla. So what the Blood Eagle is they like tie somebody up in like a cross sort of shape. And then they take a sledgehammer sort of thing and break their spine. And then they cut open their insides, grab their lungs from inside in their back, and throw it over the back of their shoulders here. So they're sort of over your arms as they're like doing this thing here. And if they survive all of that without screaming, they're allowed to go to Valhalla. But if they scream, they don't go to Valhalla. So they have to do that without making a noise, pretty much. Which
so insanely brutal.
Is incredible. Because if you
I don't think I could handle that. I don't think I'd be going to Valhalla.
Oh, bloody peace out.
I'll go to Hades.
Which is why I think the Christians wanted to keep their Christian heaven so bad.
Yeah.
Because Valhalla sounds like a fucking badass place.
They say there's a lyric in it where it says like rip the body from the bone now, spread the heavens wings. So this is like describing doing the Blood Eagle.
Like bow them out, so it looks like over their arms,
an angel.
Their lungs are wings over their arms, like an eagle.
Yeah, God,
and they're covered in blood.
And then they also say, let the Christians sing, as in let them scream. If they don't want to go to Valhalla, that's their problem.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, it's super fucked up, but it's like so interesting.
But it's also insane that was like part of like Vikings
happened,
old
man.
Nordic Swedish style like history. Like, it's crazy
man.
that was a
Vikings
thing.
are amazing,
and that they were just like badass as. I was actually watching a little documentary quickly on it as well, and like the guys just like Vikings actually. There's no proof. There's like one image of proof that Vikings had tattoos. Like only that they had tattoos in general, but all Vikings nowadays are displayed as like tattoos everywhere.
Yeah, people take creative license with things too, and
I think it's just the imagery and everything like that. And they always use those like the old Swedish symbols, not Swedish, the old Nordic symbols, like the runes,
like the runes. Yeah,
but they were they predated Vikings. They were before Vikings completely, so they have no sort of like it's like Old English now. It has no place. It doesn't mean the same things.
Yeah.
I say thy, it means me, but somebody hearing thy now that has no idea what thy means would be like, is that you? Is that them? Is that
made redundant?
It's not. It doesn't make the same. Even though it's the same principle, it's not the same words.
Yeah.
And apparently those runes to the Viking language are like completely different as well, which is crazy.
So. Today I learned.
Yeah.
Thank you for your history lesson.
You're welcome.
Shall we move on to song 3?
What did you rate it?
Oh, I rate it 8 out of 10, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really like this one. Always have, always will.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
Bloody cracker.
Bloody cracker.
Yeah. Song 3.
Church burner.
So, this is actually the first Periphery song I ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
The reason because I basically, on djent ship posting, right, someone made some copy pasta. It was funny as fuck. It was basically like, they were saying that like they're a Christian and that like they're drawing the line with Periphery after they've wrote this song called Church Burner. And I'm not listening to them anymore. Like they've crossed a line today, and like it's just this long. It's a copy pasta. Like, yeah, what? Fucking hilarious. And so I was reading this, and I was just like giggling to myself, and then I realized I'd never even listened to it. I was like, oh, there must be a song about burning churches on this album, and I was like, huh. And I was like, I've never actually listened to Periphery. I'll go listen to that song, and listen to it, and like, man. That song is like whack out the gate. Like, it's so insanely effing heavy right at the start and like fast and a weird timing and all this shit. And I was just like, when I'd seen like all this stuff about Periphery being posted and djent ship posting, that is not what I thought that was going to be.
Negativity towards Periphery and djent ship posting.
Yeah. Well, I think people sort of
it slowly transitioned
hang shit on them like a good friend.
Yeah, it's
you're
like
just like,
mate with
fuck Periphery.
Fuck Periphery, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck Periphery.
Dude, I fucking hate Misha's mixes. Fuck Periphery.
Like, and Barcy. I think the good thing about that is, right,
sugar.
Whether you actually hate... Listen to that tone. Whether you actually hate Periphery or love Periphery, you can still talk shit. You'd be like, fuck Periphery. You literally just start talking shit about... what dickhead listens to that shit band?
Yeah, 100%.
Even though I could be saying that as a joke, and then someone else could be like, yeah, I agree. So, anyway, it's funny. But listen to this song, and I think it really just... Like, I think me being just taken aback by it, I confused that with really enjoying it a lot. And so, that was what... I think it effectively acted as a vessel for me to, like, listen to the next... Listen to Reptile, basically. Listen to the start of the album all the way through. And that was when I realized that I don't actually like this song that much, like compared to the other songs. It's actually one of the weaker ones in the album for me now, but it's sort of strange that it was the one who technically got me into Periphery. Like I put it on, went, holy crap, this is awesome. I didn't think this was going to be, I was like, this is what Periphery was going to be like, and really enjoyed it. Go and listen to Reptile, I'm like, holy fuck, this is amazing. And then it gets to Church Burner, I'm like, oh yeah, that's just Church Burner. So yeah, I still like the song. I just don't. It just pales a lot to a bulk of the album. So I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I also gave it a 6 out of 10.
Oh, that's interesting.
Same digits.
Were they... Give us your reasons.
I said
for
start...
your digis.
Yes, same... for my Digimons. I said the same, man. I said it started out really great and moving. It's got like a moment in it where it's got like this cool, a little bit punky again, but sort of Ocean Grovey vibes.
Yeah, I
it
think
sounds sort of like Luke from
might have
Ocean
been listening
Grove
to it the other
doing
day
this
and going like, that sounds like old Ocean Grove.
Yeah, 100%. I was just like, hey, that sounds like old Ocean Grove. That's sick.
There's a static, it's alive in the battleground. Blow the hope and then we wait for the sound. Step back in the step back, they all need a piece of it. Well, they all want something.
And it sort of worked with the moments. I said in here, Spencer's lows really, really complement the placement in this song. Because I don't feel like he is that great of a screaming vocalist.
Yeah, that's not what attracts me to his vocals.
Yeah, whereas what I am enjoying, what I take out of metal music, what I take out of metal vocals. But they really complemented each other in this one.
Yep.
I think every song I've got something written about the vocals. And I'm just like, oh, it was okay there. But it was bad there.
At least you're not just shitting on it. Like,
nah, like it is. Every single song on this album is very, very well made, and it's very musically good. But whether it's to my taste is different.
Yeah. Yep.
I said I don't mind the chorus, but I don't think there should be a chorus. I didn't like it at all being there.
That's probably one of my least favorite bits too.
Yeah,
it sounds weird.
It doesn't sound bad. I just don't know if it should have been in there at all. I think they could have just done something else or built up a little bit more instead of, kept
brave
the build up
of them
going. Yeah,
to put it in there.
It was such a heavy song that it didn't need a clean chorus in there that changed its sound, but they did it and it was alright. I did say that their changes are fire. Like every little transition in the song is really well done. Sounds really good. You know, you can sort of keep bopping one way or another, and even if the time changes, you can be like, you're still following along. There's a tiny little orchestra bit where it sort of does this like dun 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 on the violins and some cellos and shit, and it comes in before the little glitch hop ending.
Oh yeah, that's got a weird like glitchy ending, too.
But before that glitchy ending, it comes in with this tiny little orchestrated like circus sort of sound.
Is it like the do 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 do?
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah. And I'm like, it sounds like a fucking phone ringtone, right? And no joke, it sounds like one of the default alarms on the bloody Samsung, right? And I'm like, I listened to the whole song and I was like, the fuck was that? It confused the shit out of me. Like, I don't understand why that was in there. It had no place in the song at all. Like, sure, they were just taking.
Yeah,
the
now
piss,
that you mention it,
it doesn't
weird.
connect. And then I'm thinking maybe they're going to go some crazy circus sort of style, like Ivor Light sort of circus style, like
clown shit
at the end or whatever. And then they go into this like techno glitch hop sort of end, which I also wasn't a fan of, but I really like glitch hop. When it's done right. I wasn't a fan of the end of this one. I said it only sounded, and this is a very big point, I did like the glitch hop ending. Not because it was at the end of Church Burner, but because it was at the start of Garden of the Bones.
Yeah, it goes into it.
Before Garden of the Bones, it sounds fucking awesome. At the end of Church Burner, it sounds shit.
Yeah, that's true, right? Like, it feels quite out of place. It's another one of those,
so
like, they did a
place.
Weird thing at the end of the song.
Yeah.
Like, so Reptile does one, Church Burner does one. I can't remember.
They all fucking
Crush
do one.
does a weird one.
All of them do one. Every song has a moment where you're like, that just shouldn't be in here. Like, what are you doing, guys?
Some shouldn't.
But the only
some parts you're just like, what the heck?
That's right. But the promising part for this is that it doesn't go well with itself. The glitch hop ending doesn't go great with Church Burner, but it fucking slaps for Garden in the Bones. It really does. It sides in so well. Like, you're listening to this like little end bit that you're like, I didn't want this to be here at the end of this song. But then it's just
what's going on? What's going to happen?
Into Garden of the Bones, and you're like, oh, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, they just fixed that. How did they fix that? It's like if they put both of those songs together, it would be like Reptile.
It's funny you say that.
Oh, because the next song is the one with the bit of Reptile in it.
It is.
Ah, funny.
And if you probably put those together, it probably would be about the same
fucking length.
sort of length, and also
Maybe
like the
3 of
structure,
them.
like super heavy, crazy shit at the start, and then sort of more soft and ethereal, but still kind of heavy on the other end of it. So you gave it a 6 out of 10. You said
6 out of 10. Yeah.
6s all around.
Yeah.
A worthy rating for this song.
One more 6, and we'd be making a deal with the devil.
Well, maybe I'll just change my rating for this song.
66. No, what?
66.
66 out of 10. Full marks.
57 out of 7.
Out of 9.
What?
57 out of 69. Oh.
Nice. All right. Let's move on to song 4.
Yeah.
Garden in the Bones.
I've got amazing intro and chorus is so complementary with the song. Transition without body after the chorus is really cool and a refreshing sound. It was sort of really nice to hear that because it was their music that worked for me. I wish I didn't hear the chorus again after that. It's sort of, they just did the chorus, they did that sort of like soft, pulled out the inside of the song and just like played sort of this like piece, and then they chorus straight away again. I was like, I just heard that. You could have spent that time building into something different or changing it up a little bit. Vocal lows are out of place in this song. Doesn't work for me.
Do you mean like the part where he's like fire, water?
Yeah, those ones.
I love that. But maybe it's because you don't hear his lows very often. So I was just like,
no, I've heard his lows in the other songs and I like them. Actually, in all the other songs, I've complimented the lows. It's just this one here that the lows are just, I was like, it doesn't sound good. Like, you don't need to do lows there. Like, if they're going to sound like that, you could have just done your normal voice and it would have sounded better. In my opinion, all right? I said that there's a massive fucking change at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and I fucking love this bit, right? Sounds like Glass Ocean and is a really great and complimentary sound, and I love Glass Ocean, and that bit was fucking sick. It slapped hard. It was like cool and open and groovy and like twangy and sort of like... Oh man, all the great parts that I love about Glass Ocean, they did it in that moment.
It is quite Glass Ocean. Yeah, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, and that's what I was just like, oh, I fucking love that. I love that sound. That sounds so good. Like, what? Do more of this. But then after that, right after that bit ends, he pulls back and he starts doing his little bit of a guitar transition into the next part, which is like identical to Animals as Leaders. That bit, I fucking love that right after the Glass Ocean bit. I was like, that is such a combination right now.
And then what about the bit after that?
It was sick. Both impressive and sounds great. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That whole bit there until 4 minutes 30. Oh my God, I backed that up. And then it goes back to djent, and I said excellent moment. So
the part after the little Tosin Abasi bit, and then I guess before that next bit where it turns to djent, that's the bit that is repeated from Reptile. It's like the claim we
staying in the room of the buffalo something.
No, that's the chorus. That's stampede in the room like a buffalo. That bit I love. Like this, I really love this song.
This one's really good.
3 minutes 32. It's the same part from Reptile.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
I love that stuff, man.
Well, that sounds much better.
But maybe it's because it works really well with this song, and I think Reptile was like, I think that part in Reptile is written in with this song in mind when that part is played. Like, I think when this leitmotif or whatever, it's gonna kill me. But this repeated theme, when it's played in Reptile, it's not meant to be like Garden in the Bones isn't meant to be like following up from Reptile. Reptile is giving you the prequel. Like, it's getting you ready for, like, he's just like, listen to this because you'll hear this one later. Get ready for it. If you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's alluding to Garden in the Bones, not the other way around. That's how I feel about it. Like, that's how I feel when I listen to the song. Like, that melody belongs to Garden in the Bones.
To give.
Yeah, okay.
To understand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the melody belongs to Garden in the Bones, and Reptile is, like, borrowing it just for that bit.
For 17 minutes, they had to fill it up. So.
Yeah, it's in 12 minutes long. Like, fuck. How do we make this song a little bit longer?
We need something, and we've already written this other piece. We'll just use that again.
Yeah, but, I think I slept on this song a bit at the start. You know, the first few times I listened to this album, I was just like, that's just that song, and I let it go. But what grew on, like a lot of the songs in this album, what really attracted me to it was Spencer's cleans. I think maybe just how it complements the song so well. I don't know, there's so many aspects of this song that I love, like, and a lot of them are melodic, like his Spencer's cleans. The guitar that's used, like the lead guitar parts that are used, yes, as a lead guitar, but they're used like almost rhythmically. I don't know how to explain it. Like in that part that's repeated from Reptile, like there's just like this riff constantly playing over the top, and it just makes the whole thing flow. Like
we always talk
it's
about
really hard to
movement
explain.
in music, hey?
Yeah, well, that one's really making it move. Like it feels like it's breathing. Yeah, so the Spencer's cleans, the guitar lead, like a lot of these melodic elements that just really tie this song rhythmically together. What else can I say? There are a lot of, like, the other thing about like the lead guitar is I find it very emotive. Like it, I guess that comes back to sort of me saying like it's almost like it's breathing. Like, and then because Spencer's vocals are quite emotive in this song, like it all comes together well. So like that part where he's like, stripped all of the air in your lungs now. Like, stripped all of the air in my lungs now. Feeling so alone. Like he's really giving it his all. And I'm just like, damn, this shit bussin'. And so,
bussin'.
Oh man, it just gets me so much, and like now it's become one of my favorites on the album. So,
yeah, it's definitely up there for me. This one was one of the ones I was like, it's a really good song. I said literally my only negative about this whole song is, so I got two, is that
the lows,
the chorus and the lows. They didn't need the chorus in that moment and the lows.
Yeah, but it's still a good chorus. You just think
still
it should
an
be
okay
repeated.
chorus. You just heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like you heard it, and there was like 3 bars, like 2 or 3 bars, and you were like, they played it again. You're like, what the fuck?
It was a whole verse.
Yeah, it didn't.
It's
sound
just
like
a shortened verse.
It didn't feel like that when I was listening to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
What rating did you give it?
7 out of 10.
Nice. I'm stuck. I don't know if I want to give it an 8 or a 9. I think a 9.
It's a good song.
Me likey.
Like, if I like this album, I'd give it a 9.
Well, I'll give it a 9 then. So, song 5.
It's only Smalls. That's the fucking thumbnail right there.
Perfect. What do you think about this one?
Fireflies?
Oh, I never even made the connection. It really is like that.
No joke, when I heard it, I was like, what the fuck? Fireflies? I literally wrote Fireflies.
Sorry, I accidentally put on Our City. Oh, fucking hell. I'm still listening to Periphery.
Fireflies what?
I literally, at the start,
exactly
sounds
like
just
I was
like Fireflies.
What the fuck is this?
I guarantee they would have, like, taken inspiration from
Some
it.
taking the piss somewhere, shape or form from Our City.
Yeah.
Fireflies what? I've got 4 points for this song. Fireflies what? Escape the Fate and Asking the Alexandra vibes, and I kind of don't want it.
Yep.
Riffs and music are good. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Music sounds sick, but the singing makes me sick. Outro took a whole lifetime.
Yep. That sums up a lot of what I sort of think. Like, you definitely, I mean, obviously the Fireflies, like, little synthy part at the start, like the pad that...
It's sort of like a cute homage
Yeah,
to Fireflies.
mate, it's got to be at least inspired by it, right?
Like it's fucking.
it's the
similar,
same shit.
It's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. I heard. I was like,
and then yeah,
pardon?
it does have like
What the fuck?
sort of there's Escape the Fate vibes in it.
Escape the vape.
Escape the Fate. In fact, all around it's sort of got a real big pop punk vibe to it.
Yeah, this is
Actually,
probably what I mean by punky, I guess.
I was listening to this album in the lab. Jeez, man, it would have been over a year ago now. Well, actually, it must have been much more than a year ago because of lockdown. But I was working in the lab, and a mate of mine was also working in a different part of the lab. And we share a lot of our music. I'll be like, oh, let's put on this and see what you think, and he'll do the same with me. And then I was listening to this album, and I don't think he had anything to say. Oh, shout out to Morgan, by the way.
Morgy dog.
He's a big pop punk fan, and so we're listening to this album, whatever. Like, he hasn't said anything. This song comes on, and he's like, bit of pop punk, man. And I'm just like, I stopped and went, no, I guess it is kind of like a pop punk song. And then I said to him, like, it's actually the same band. And he's like, oh wow, really? Okay. And I've always sort of felt the same way since. Like, I think, and that probably made me appreciate it a bit more, because I think the first time I heard it, I straight up was just like, this does not belong here.
When you pull it out of the genre that it's supposed to be in,
yeah,
and like go, okay, here you go. Actually, you're going to be surprised which one's my favourite song on this album. So I'm not going to spoil it, but
no, this is exciting. I'm all about this, mate, because I know this album so intimately that when you tell me your favourite song, I'll be like, oh, I wonder why. So we'll get to that.
You'll be shocked as well, because you probably wouldn't.
You'll be shocked when you hear number 10.
I wouldn't give this album a 10. Any song on it. So you agree?
But yeah.
What's your score for this song?
Yeah, yes, I agree, and I think it's a little bit this random fucking pop punk song in the middle of the album.
It's
and
not
to be honest,
bad.
I don't.
It's just not.
Yeah, I listen to it and I sing along to it. I like a lot of the music in it, but I think I just don't like it that much. And in fact, it's the only one I ever skip. All the other songs I listen to start to finish, warts and all, even with the weird shit at the end. But this song, I'm just like, I just want to hear "Follow Your Ghost," and I skip it. So I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I don't which is a pretty low rating.
For somebody
how much
really
I yammer on about how much I fucking love this album. So yeah.
Yeah, that's still great though. That's still average marks.
Oh yeah, well, this is to say it's a perfectly average song for me. I can take it or leave it.
There you go.
That's just it. That's the definition of 5, right? It's
whereas I don't want to hear it again.
What did you give it?
I gave it a 2.
Oh, youch! Yeah, it is. I was expecting a low rating, but not a 2.
I really don't want to hear it again. I didn't like it at all. I said, kudos to riffs in it. The music is good in itself.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear it.
Technically, it's good.
Technically, it's good. I don't like it at all.
Once was more than enough.
Yeah, three times that I've heard it now.
I'm certainly not gonna criticize your opinion there, because from a relative perspective, that's pretty much the same rating, same sort of thing, And if you look at our ratings on a curve, they're sort of following a similar sort of trend.
If we're talking about crypto,
yeah,
we're following Bitcoin. Your
buy
Bitcoin,
high, sell low, mate.
Your Bitcoin, and I'm fucking Cardano right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Following the bell curve.
Except for this one, you just went down to Shibe.
Right now. Yeah, right now.
But
red coin right now.
That's no crypto talk on the podcast. We'll get carried away. Okay. But what if it did crypto talk?
Crypto podcast.
Anyway, welcome back to Ada with Hamboys.
Oh, welcome back to
Cardano with Hamboys.
Welcome back to Charles Hopkins fan club.
Anyway, look, I follow the same sort of trend, and I think we both sort of had a bit of disdain for this song, so it makes sense.
It's trash.
I don't go sipping from the Periphery cup when I want pop punk.
Yeah, I don't go sipping from Periphery in general. Especially not when it's only smiles.
No.
Number 6. Follow Your Ghost.
I often just want to skip It's Only Smiles, and not just because I don't like that song very much, but also because I like Folio Ghost a lot. It's pretty crazy juxtaposition from something that's effectively a pop punk song into this, which is very heavy. Like behind Blood Eagle, this is probably, and maybe Church Burner, it's probably one of the heaviest. Heaps of cool riffs, and like, you know, from a music perspective, there's a lot of stuff I really love about it.
Oh shit!
What
is Fireflies? Is It's Only Smiles the quiet song?
Oh, or is Crush the quiet song?
Well,
no,
I'd
actually,
say
it's
Crush
only
is the quiet song in genre. It's Only Smiles is a quiet song, but it's out of genre. So
right.
which
Let's
counts?
give It's Only Smiles, I think.
It's Only Smiles song before.
It's Only Smiles. I can't hit my camera because it's being weird. So.
Yeah, mine's being real weird as well. Doesn't like
Thanks, Kogan.
Doesn't like hot dogs.
What? Okay, I don't want to know.
Sorry, Follow Your Ghost.
So, yeah, Follow Your Ghost. A lot of cool little riffs. The bridge kind of part, I think it's about 3/4 through in Follow Your Ghost, where he's just like, drink, blow, chemicals arise to wake and ease the guilt.
I don't know the words, so.
I do. But it's so fucking cool, man. It's got a wicked little breakdown in the middle, and like where it's just like,
Yeah, that bit.
and like it's so cool. Yeah. I think like musically, I'm very attracted to this song, but something I sort of
hot.
It's like, hey, Follow Your Ghost, you're looking pretty
fine. Follow Your
fine.
Ghost, let me smash.
Let me slide into those DMs.
Let me slide into those ghosts. I'm gonna follow your ghost.
Follow you home. Follow your ghost.
ASMR podcast.
It's just me like quoting Periphery lyrics really close into the mic
and breathing.
Anyway, so thematically, like lyrics wise, I think it's really interesting too, because it's like a bit of a like song sort of fighting against suicide.
Cool.
Especially in sort of how in popular culture, especially in like celebrities, it's not to say that like it's seen as in a good light, but it is glorified in a way, or it's romanticized. Maybe there might be the better way of describing it. And how there's things like the 27 Club, like, you know, how like there's musicians that have either killed themselves or died. Also, by the way, if you don't want to hear any more talk about suicide, skip to this time, because that can be a bit confronting for some people. Anyway, yeah, the 27 Club, you know, is like celebrities, like musicians and actors and shit who have died at the age of 27. There's like there's probably realistically, if you like look at all the celebrities that have died, there probably wouldn't be a significant amount, but people just make this association at 27. But that's the still thing, this, right? It's just romanticized. So Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, they're the only two that are coming up to straight off the top of my head. But, you know, like these are sort of like, oh, they die young, and it's just romanticizing this weird thing. One of the lyrics is fall in line with the number 27.
Oh, wow.
One of the lyrics in this song. And then one of the sort of more like stop romanticizing suicide lyrics is no brain, no heart, just rotting legacy. The little stab wounds in that ego scream lobotomy. It bled you dry, and now the sun is set. They'll never forget. They'll never forget.
Hectic.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think lyrics is generally their strong point with Periphery, but this song really does a good job. So, sort of just, I think, and there's other lyrics in it, like talking about just taking mental health seriously as you would a physical illness and stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. No, in all fairness, like, they've been pretty poetic from everything that I've caught. Whether they're talking about super serious things or not, it's been pretty poetic. Like
Blood Eagles.
Yeah, like Blood Eagle as well. Like, that's insane, like, in itself. But the fact that they're writing a song about it, like, how many other artists have wrote a song about Blood Eagles? You know what I mean?
Literally don't think there are any. I mean, there's probably a bunch of like Viking metal bands out there that sing about it all the time. But
yeah, maybe. But you know what I mean? Like, this is mainstreaming it to a sense.
To a degree, yeah. Yeah. So huge song on this album for me. It's one of my faves. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Awesome, man. That's great. All right. Well, I've got heavy and funky start with the little guitar licks popping in between the kicks of the drums. That was cool. because it was just like sort of like whoop, 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 up here. I thought that was really sick. Good way to start. Vocals really strong. Lows aren't working as well with the low music. I feel like they washed out a little bit because they were gone down to like some like nice chuggy sort of like open area of sound, and his lows were down low as well, and it sort of just like stopped having contrast. It's probably the word. So I'm just reading my note. I'm trying to remember what it was from. I wrote they the whole 8 or 16 bars again, and I don't like that. So I think they must mean that they play the next part quite a fair bit, and they sort of replay it, and I sort of didn't like that part. Whether that's like after the intro and after the sort of like the start of the song. They somehow make a part of that area I'm not a fan of. When I was first hearing it, and as I was writing down this, I was sort of like, I don't like this moment, but they sort of moved it into a bit of a fast kick bass movement, and I started liking it after that, and then they got like a really cool djenty bit sort of like halfway through the song.
I think I know the bit.
Can't do it. Dragged on, and it had this moment I was like, this is really bad, and then they sort of like worked their way out of that moment without like changing to a whole different piece, and it worked, and I was like, oh wow, like they actually saved it. It's almost like they bloody caught the soccer ball before it like went into the thing after it passed the line, you know what I mean? And I was like, that's fucking sick. And then they go back to the chorus, and that really works at that point, because I feel like you know, there was enough time between the last chorus and this one that it came back and it sort of worked into its place.
Yeah.
It was the transition. You know what I mean? It was a transition to the next part. They didn't have to add something random in there that didn't really connect. The chorus connected at all. Singing comes in and ruins all of the good work that they put up. They made until then. For me.
Which bit? Like
for me, after the second chorus. And then he does this like weird part where they sort of stop, and he does this weird, creepy sort of Smeagol thing. Which is weird.
Very weird. I think it fits, to be honest.
I mean, I'm all about, you know, high screams, demonic high screams with the Smeagol-y, Elmo-y voice in the background. You know what I mean? Like, I know all about that, but it didn't really sort of hit for me in that moment. But then they sing again after that, and I didn't really like that. But the only redeemable part in there was with the music. They had like this violin and cello sort of playing in the background, and that's where they were doing the dun 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 dun.
It builds up
like
too.
Dun, 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 and it was like really cool in there, because I was like, oh, that was sick. Like it actually come in really nice with the orchestra, and then as it heavies and thickens up, at the end it sounds really good again. So it's sort of sort of like up and down the song for me.
That the cleans near the end are probably my favorite bit. Like,
you've said that for a few songs though.
Like I said, I do like Spencer's cleans a lot. I mean, it's good having a conversation with you about it, because you don't just like you're not a fan of Periphery generally, but you haven't shit on his like, you've been critical for sure, and I think that's really good. But you've you know, I've spoken to people and they just shit on Spencer's vocals, especially his cleans, and to me that's so strange because I enjoy them so much.
You know what it is? I think the man can sing. I just feel like he does something a certain way for this band, and I don't like that sound.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he can actually hit the notes, dude. Like, he really
Well, maybe
can.
you're just a sensible human and you can recognize that tastes are different, because some people just, you know, have that attitude of like, well, I don't like this, so it must be shit.
Yeah,
and
well,
like,
I don't like it, so it's shit to me because I don't want to listen to it. But the truth is, like, musically and talent-wise, and probably the amount of effort that the man's put into it, he's got a good voice. He's just in the way that they play, in the way that it sort of contradicts the music that they're playing. You know, it doesn't connect.
I think it complements it.
For you, that's fine, but for me, it just doesn't connect. It doesn't join up. So where the music is starting to move in a certain way, then the lyrics and the vocals are throwing me off. Not the lyrics, but the vocals are throwing me off out a different way. And I'm like, fuck, why that just didn't work with those vocals. Like,
I don't think
this
you're
piece
alone
was
in that
good,
too.
or these vocals were good, and the music's doing something different. And I'm like, fuck me, like connect, like work,
Pick a
with
lane.
each other. Yeah,
Pick a lane, Periphery.
no, work together. You know what I mean? But that's my sound. Like, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with any of each individual instrument or musician that is a part of Periphery. I just feel like when they put it all together, you know, it sort of throws you in directions, and not for me. That sort of frustrated me.
That's a really healthy attitude, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's what I found, actually, because, you know, I was putting this album on while I was in the shower and just, like, listened to it flat out.
That's, like, going to be the routine now.
Yeah. In the shower, on the walk to work, flat out, just listening to this album. And every time I was getting frustrated. And that's why I was saying to you, like, I'm really struggling with this album, because I'd get to a point and I'd be like, fuck me, like, just figure it out, guys. Like, you know, like, I'm here, I'm finally vibing with this moment. Like, I'm like, yep, cool, this is really great sound. And then something would take off in a different direction. I'd be like, or I caught that one and now I've lost this one, or I'm still here and this is out here. And I'm like, why are you out there? Why are you out doing this thing over here? Why is he stretching his vocals all the way up here when the music is down here and not building to that sort of raise? You know what I mean? Or vice versa. Why is he doing lows right now when the music is low and he doesn't need to do that?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it just...
It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what he's saying, but I'm saying how it sounds is getting me.
I think that's so cool that this is your perception of it. Like, I think it's just fascinating. I love like.
That's what I said to you.
Hearing...
I never said to you they were just shit. They never.
And yeah, you've never said that. That's right. You've never said that.
I've just said I'm really struggling with listening to this album. I'm struggling.
Yeah,
it's hard to listen to for me because it's.
I'm glad you can
taking me
identify the reasons why too.
Yeah, I think it was
and,
good
like,
sitting
break
down.
it down a bit.
I was just listening to it. You know what I mean? But now that I've sat down and gone, all right, each song individually and how they connect to each other, and like put all of that into pieces, it was good because I got to look and isolate every bit of the songs.
Yeah.
And be like, this bit's good. You know, 14 minutes of this is good. 3 minutes 12 is good here.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? But this last part is where I get thrown off. And it takes
and
me...
you're able to identify those points instead of just being weirded out by it.
And then looking at all of the points, I'm just like, well, if I look at these, you know, 6 of the 8 points are positive. It's just the 2 points in there that I didn't like. Well, it's 2 moments of the song that I didn't like.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's not the whole song. It's not the whole song shit because those 2 moments. It's everything is positive.
And that's the theme today.
It all comes full circle. I gave it a 5 out of 10, mate.
Yeah, that's acceptable. I understand, mate. We know you're sick.
You forgot your pants. Oh, all right.
Can we actually stop? Those Auntie Donna boys are far, like, they're actually insanely good actors.
Yeah.
It's sort of wrong that, like, I mean, I'm glad they're doing what they're doing.
Because
you watch them do like that bit in that skit where he's just like looking at, he's just like, huh, like he's like really genuinely looks like he's trying to hide embarrassment, and then like the way that like,
it's okay, bro.
Like I think Mark is just looking away, like he doesn't want to make eye contact with him, and
they really are brilliant. Good actors.
They're really good actors.
See, like if you look at old television, they're on like not all of them, but Broden's on a lot of like little one-off commercials for certain things.
He's in Good Guys commercials.
Yeah, in Good Guys commercial as well. That's right.
And all I see is like he's got like just Broden faces. He's just like the like Broden face, and I'm like,
and you're like,
he's literally just doing an Auntie Donna skit right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, you red-headed bald man, look excited.
Now look serious. I can't do the shout out to Auntie Donna.
Yeah, they're the best.
Oh, God tier.
All right. Song number 7.
Crash. By Paramore.
By Alan Raymond.
Is there a Aaron Raymond song called Crush? Oh, there you go. This song is quite a huge departure from the rest of the album. Like, I mean, we've been like talking about, there's soft songs and there's heavy songs and all that, and like they're all a little bit different in their own way. It's a fucking pop punk song, and then there's this, and man, let me tell you, me likey, I like it a lot.
You like
Dude,
Crush?
I love it. I love Crush.
All right, interesting.
Clearly it's not for the same reasons. Well, actually, musically, for the most part, it's not for the same reasons as the other songs. I've been going on about how much I enjoy Spencer's vocals and stuff. And this is, I don't know what your opinion is as far as like a technical perspective of his vocals, but I think this is his best performance on the album, like vocally.
Wow.
He seriously shows a massive range, like, and has so much emotion in his voice for some parts. Like, I don't claim to be a good singer or anything, but like when I used to feed the fish as like for some part-time work, the aquaculture research, and I used to be in this big shed totally alone, and I just put in headphones, be feeding fish, and I'd be listening to this album a fair bit. And this song, because I'd sing along to all the songs, and this song I just tried to sing along, but I can't. I just can't hit those the range he's got. It just can't be done.
He really does have some range. Like he
He's
really
got
is
some
a good vocalist.
serious range.
See what I mean? Like,
Especially...
and then you hear these ones, and you're like, "Hey, you're actually a good musician. Like, you are so good at what you do."
Yeah, it's very talented people.
Anybody who says that they're not good musicians, you're fucking wrong.
They're just wrong. Like you absolutely have your own taste. I totally agree with that.
If you say that you don't like it because you don't like it, that's fair.
Fair enough. But like, these guys are good musicians. All of them. I can't fault any of them. They did a skit actually. Periphery did it was like an ad for a drum sample, like kit. You know, you can get like Axe FX and shit, and you can download drum samples. There's a Periphery drum sample one, and it was based. I can't remember what's this drummer's name. His name is Matt Halpin. They for the ad, it was just like Matt Halpin like waking up in the tour van, and he was just like, "Where is everyone?" And he like walks outside, and he can hear like music playing in the venue inside. He's like, "What the hell?" And he walks in there, and they're all doing sound check without him, and they've got a laptop sitting like on a drum stool at a drum kit. And it's playing the fucking drums with the sample kit.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's so funny. They're like, well, we don't need you anymore. We've got a robot to do it.
We got a you as a computer.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to Crush. This one, I really love this song. It like, there's not a lot behind it, I guess, from a musical perspective. Like, you know, I think the only acoustic instrument in it is probably the drums. I think there's a little bit of like literally just chugging on a guitar, like open notes, like dun 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 dun. But you know, I think the focal point of this song is Spencer's vocals, and that's what really attracts it to me. And like, it gives me goosebumps. Like, listen to this song, especially how it builds to the climax right at the end. Like, the climax of the song is at the end, so like it goes through its motions throughout the whole song, and then it has like a bit of an orchestral bit, and it builds, and then he hits this final note, and I'm just like, oh my god, and then it just like calms down with like a couple more chugs, like do 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 do, like finishing with like the same sort of rhythm that the whole song's had, and then it has that weird, like that really, really weird, like little violin break at the end, which I don't understand that at all, but it's there. So there it is. And don't really like that it's there. Nothing technically wrong with that. I just don't like it. but the rest of the song I loved a bit.
Technically, there is something wrong with that.
Yeah, it just shouldn't be there. And it sounds funny. It's not even like, yeah. Look, it's just strange. I gave Crush an 8 out of 10.
Fuck, that's a big score.
I sense that you didn't give it a good score
at all.
To be honest, when
4 points, it's like sorry, go on.
When you said that I was going to be surprised by the song that's your favorite, I just instantly assumed it was going to be this because this is a bit of a black sheep on the album.
Yeah, right. No,
but clearly not.
I think I think what ruined this song, okay, let's put it this way: you take Crush and take all of the vocals out of it and slap it on a video game, be a fucking banger, right? I mean,
playing Hades with Crush in the background.
Yeah, or play no Transistor. I mean, you should actually get Transistor. It's a fucking awesome game.
I looked little trailer. It looks good.
But put it on a game like Transistor, or put it on a game like Bastion, or put it on one of those little bloody...
Or Hotline Miami.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? And it would be an absolute banger, because you'd just be like, that's sick, you know what I mean? But I think coming after Follow Your Ghost, for me, where it ended so heavy, and then going into this video game style, sort of almost tech mech sort of
it's like this industrial
sort of
electric music.
I didn't find it appealing.
Okay.
And then it was all sort of cleans, and I was like, this isn't what I wanted when I'm listening to a djent album. This just isn't what I wanted.
That's a good point.
And it's fine because it didn't sound bad in itself. Once again, it was all musically fantastic. Musically, in a sense, it was all industrial sort of computer music. You know what I mean? But I'm sure they're playing it somewhat live when they play it, or they've played most of it or created it one way or another. But
should find some videos.
It was good. It just wasn't my sound at all. I don't think the entire song was my sound at all. Very impressive. The vocals are always impressive. He has got some bloody range on him, but wasn't to my liking. So, and that said, right at the end, I had 4 things. Am I playing a video game? Vocals are not me. I don't find this one appealing at all. It's like I like the sounds they are using, but I don't like the way they place them together. And then off to the strings at the end at 5 minutes in the way and they lost me at 5 minutes in, and they lost me is what I wrote.
Yeah, those strings are fucking
then
weird.
The strings come in, I was like, you've spoiled the whole thing. I was like, you had a moment where it was its own piece, and then why have you changed that?
I hardly even classify that in the song, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not.
As far as I'm concerned, the song ends
part of the song
right before the strings start.
Yeah, I was like, what? What the fuck?
Right.
Why? I gave it a 3, Owen.
That's still better than It's Only Smiles, so that's
a 3 out of 10. It was impressive in a sense, but I would, once again, it's one of those ones I wouldn't go back and listen to it again.
That's interesting.
If it came on, I'd
back
be like,
and specifically listen to this. I've been
an 8, bro.
Yeah, I love it. It's so fucking good to me. I
can't. Frothing on it.
I tried my best to explain why, but I just froth it.
Nah, man, that's good. You like it? It's your sound.
It gives me goosebumps.
It's your sound. It gives you goosebumps. It's fine.
I'm literally have you seen that video of the guy rating the cat? And he's like, I have goosebumps.
I have goosebumps.
32 years of judging is one of the finest cats I've ever judged. Well done.
I have goosebumps.
I have goosebumps.
Oh, man.
I have goosebumps.
And then, what the fuck is so special about that ugly cat?
Ugly ass bloody furball.
Oh, fuck. Alright.
32 years. That's the best cat. Daddy's best cat.
Alright. Next song. Song 8. Song number 8. Number 10.
Number 10. Nothing better than 10, ladies and gentlemen. We got 10 up at the top.
Sentient Glow.
Greatest numbers of all time. Alright. This was the worst heavy song on the album. You got all the other heavies, and they're like, yeah, they're alright. They got some good heavy bits. This was heavy, but it wasn't that good, in my opinion.
I think I actually based on my ratings, that I agree.
Starts really heavy, however, they start singing, and I don't enjoy it at all. I heard it before.
Yeah.
This song has no body; it's just noise for me. They had a really cool time riff. I must write this real fast. 1 minute 34 seconds, which was really impressive. And then back to orchestrated sad boy bit. I'm not interested in at all. Ends with more sad boy orchestrated bit. Yeah. Oh, that's right. It got really emo sad at the end, if I remember right. Yeah, it got really like the Usedy, if I remember right.
Watch the horizon fade within your eyes.
Yeah, like really
Like
delicate sounding.
Yeah, like delicate sounding, like trying to cater to the young girl's heart sort of sound. You know what I mean? Like it's like pierce the veil.
I don't think that's what that song is. I feel like that's what It's Only Smiles is trying to do.
That too, but this one here is like, it reminds me of like the Used.
But I think
singing.
But that those sort of like really delicate, clean vocals go really well with that part in the music because it's quite gentle and quiet. Like it's just like
no, there's nothing wrong about the
clean
lyrics in that
guitars
moment.
and.
Sorry, the lyrics.
No, I don't mean the lyrics. Like just the vocal.
Sorry, my vocal issues are all at the start. So it starts off really heavy. However, I don't like the vocals in it. I think the vocals in that last part where it gets a bit more clean and open and sad boy, good. I reckon they connect and combine really well.
It's just the overall thing.
Just didn't like it in the song.
Yeah,
that's my issue. Yeah,
fair enough.
I gave it a 4 out of 10.
It's acceptable.
More than
I have a fun fact about this song.
Okay.
God, man, I could kill for one of those pineapples right now.
That's fucking good, man.
So this song is not originally written by Periphery. It's originally written by a band called Haunted Shores, which is a band that made by Misha Mansour and Mark Holcomb of Periphery. So Haunted Shores
not made by Periphery, but made by Periphery's maker.
Yeah, literally, like it's Periphery light. Like it's Periphery, but no lyrics. Effectively, it's all instrument. For all those people who fucking complain about Spencer's vocals, like not liking it, but they like the music. That's where you want to go. Go listen to Haunted Shores, because it's literally the same like writers of the music and two of the musicians playing it. And it's all instrumental. And yeah, they got a song called Sentient Glow. It's the same name and everything. It's the same song. It just doesn't have lyrics. I didn't know that. I was looking up some stuff and then I was like, oh, look at that. When it's not on Spotify, but it's on YouTube. And yeah, it's the same. It's the same song. It just doesn't have Spencer's vocals on it.
Hey, I've got a question for you quickly.
Yeah.
So, what do you call Periphery that has driven past you?
What?
Misha Man's scene.
Bruh.
And what do you call...
I'm so angry with you. Oh my god.
Sorry, I tried. It was a stretch.
Misha Mansour would still work with that joke.
Who the fuck's that?
Shut up.
Bruh.
Look, I largely agree. It's not. It's probably the weakest of the heavy songs in the album. And I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Sad boy bits.
Yeah, pretty average that.
7.
Well, I can take or leave it.
You gave it a 7.
A 6. It says 6.
I thought you said 7. Even a 6 is pretty high. That song was trash.
Every time I listen to it, there's parts where I'm just like, this isn't so bad. Like, this is probably the only song where I'm like focusing more and enjoying more the instruments rather than the vocal melodies. Damn, don't sip that loud so hard.
Right.
So 6 out of 10. Take it or leave it, to be honest.
Leave it. All right.
Final
Last
song,
one.
Paul.
Satellites. Satellites.
I really like the song itself. We put a lot of weight, I think, in the song that the artist chooses as their final song on the album. I think we sort of give it a lot of weight of importance. Like, for example, I Shook Hands with Death, and this in Discoveries, great song to finish off with. Naked and Cold by The Artist Murder. Once again, that's the final song of the album. Even though we like went and listened to like that B-side afterwards, we were like, that's not the final song.
What is it? Vengeance or whatever it is.
Vengeance, yeah.
Vengeance.
Like all these songs that sort of, they're the final song, right? And I listen to this one, it doesn't have that same vibe to me. I mean, it sort of kind of does as the song itself finishes. And like it has a little build up and cool little breakdown at the end. So it does like cap off the album quite nicely. But it never feels like it's sort of get ready for the end of the album now. Like enjoy this while it lasts for the end of it and anything like that. It just feels like a fun song. And then you're just sort of like, oh, hang on, it's ending here, and then it's done. However, just purely from a musical perspective, I do like the very clear juxtaposition of it being like a super delicate, just gentle song, like for half of it, and then the other half is like a powerhouse of heaviness. It gets really heavy, right? Like literally right in the middle, like it just changes, and I think that's super cool that it's made this huge juxtaposition and it still works. Like I think maybe it's because they're still using the same like chord progressions and stuff, a lot of the same melodies, but I really like that about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and as I said, like the final minutes of the song are just super powerful and emotive, and that it does cap off the album well. It's just that you don't realize it's capping it off until the last minute. And then the only other thing about the song, I don't know if you noticed, did you listen to it to the very end?
Suck my balls.
Yeah, okay, good. Oh man, that's the other thing. I didn't even realize, like I'd listened to this album many times, and I remember the moment I first heard the "suck my balls" bit because I was feeding the fish again at the DAF, and I was just like listening to this song, and like it just ended, and because my hands are like covered in fish food, and also like it's a biosecurity thing, you can't be like handling too much shit while feeding the fish. So I was just like, oh, I'll let this song play out, and I'll just I'll go and take my gloves off and change the song, like put a new album on, and let it play out. I was sitting there aimlessly, mindlessly listening to the like ethereal bit right at the end, and then I just hear "suck my balls," and I'm like, "Where the hell?
The fuck
said that?" I was thinking, was that come from my phone? Like, what the fuck was that? Like, I thought I was like been goofed or something, and which I guess I was.
Yeah, it just wasn't by anyone around you.
Yeah, just Misha got me good.
You've been pranked, bro.
Misha kicks in the door. You've just been fucking pranked.
Imagine that. That'd be sick.
Kicks in a door.
How did you know?
A fish feeding facility.
To prank you. Prank a random. Yeah.
But yeah. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's
right.
Just a good song on the album for me.
Yep,
bit disappointing that it's not one of the stronger ones for the end is all.
Well, if you could read my notes, you'd go the other way, because I literally started it with Lucky Last, expecting it to be the final hope that was going to fail me. Right? I was like, Lucky Last, after the last two songs that I gave a 3 and a 4 to. But this is my favourite song on the album.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, I reckon
it's a rap.
Yeah, it's a rap, bro. So I really like the way this song moves in particular, because I feel like it does build the entire way through the song. He does these... You said that you don't feel like this is a good ending to an album. I reckon this is a fucking amazing ending to an album.
But like the whole song?
100%.
Because I feel like the last like couple of minutes are a good ending, but the rest of it, I'm just like...
the whole song, dude. I really like... Wow. The start of this song is better than Crush for me. The start of this song is better than something about Smiles, whatever that fucking one is.
It's only Smiles.
Yeah, 100%. This one slaps. Because it wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little. It started soft. It continued to build from soft. It didn't take you this way, take you that way, throw you off here, throw you off there. It just followed its line the whole way through, and it built when it needed to build, and it did those things in the moments when it needed to do it. So I wrote here, Lucky Last. I love how the guitars opens this song up. I really like the ambient movement, and the vocals aren't unbearable over the sound of the style of music.
God, jeez,
Right?
what a compliment. Not
No.
unbearable.
Actually fucking good, because my next one, when he does at 1 minute 20, where he goes, when he's singing his like little lip, and he goes, da-da, burn on the stairs, da-da, burn on the stairs, like that. Oh, when he sings it like that over the music, and it's so soft and quiet, I fucking love those notes. I reckon he sung those perfectly for this song. Right? Absolutely perfectly. I reckon they sounded so fucking beautiful with his voice.
It does. Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? It was one of those times that I heard
beautiful,
him do
that first
something
half,
like that and actually enjoyed it, as opposed to disliked it. Because normally when he did it, I was just like, that doesn't connect at all. Connected so well in the song. And then I wrote, the orchestrated bits sound better if this was their sound the whole way through. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the orchestrated bits and the soft and cleans and the ambient of it all sounded so much better if this was the way that they treated the entire album, not just this song, with the same way of building, is sort of what I wrote here. If they started all of their songs with the same sort of vibe and built into their heaviness, or, you know, obviously that's not what they were going for with this album.
I feel like you got to be careful doing something like that, because it can get pretty stale if you have every single song that has this like
I'm not saying following
gradual
the same
build up or whatever.
I'm not. It's not exactly about the soft to heavy build up. It's more about the way it sounded. You know what I mean? The way it flowed together, the way it connected, the way it transitioned from moment to moment to moment.
Yeah.
What my issue with the other songs is, you know, they'd go this heavy, crazy moment, and then they'd transition into soft, and then they'd throw in some fucking orchestrated bit, and then they'd go back to heavy for like 2 seconds, and then they'd do some sort of crazy glitch hop moment, and you're like,
maybe I'm just into that.
What? When? Why?
Maybe I'm a
You
sick
know what I
freak.
mean? Like, that for me was just like a little bit much, and not just that. That combined with his vocals doing one thing and the music doing another was getting me. But this one, I felt like it was perfect. It was literally like they took the entire album and have gone, let's write an actual song with all of these things that we've used and put it in a normal song's progressive line and show how that would sound. And that's what they've done.
Wow,
and that's why
a really interesting perspective.
And that's why it feels to me like the perfect ending of the album as well, because they've taken all of the little bits that I was just like, that's fucking annoying, that's good, that's fucking annoying, that's good, and put it right at the end of the song in one song in the right format, or at least the right format for this song, and made it sound really good to finish the album off. And they use pretty much everything they used in the other stuff besides the crazy fucking violin bit or that glitch hop. Or the circus, the tiny little circus bit that I still don't understand why that comes into that.
I was about to say, there's no weird shit in this song except for Suck My Balls. But
except for Suck My Balls.
It's literally right at the end.
Funny.
It's you know what that's like? That reminds me of when you're at a sleepover, when you're like a kid and you're at a sleepover and you're trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
And like you're lying there and then someone just says like penis or something like that. And you start laughing. So it's like they've been serious for a whole 10 minutes, and then right then, Misha's just like, suck my balls. And everyone starts laughing.
It sort of reminds me of La Dispute when in Rooms of a House. Like, the second last song, when it like goes to the very end, and then they do like the mic check, and then they count in. They sort of fuck it up, and then they recount back in the next song. It sort of reminds me of that. Obviously, it's just because it ends, and it's just like a part after the song. But anyway, I said his clean vocals are so much better in this song. Heavy bit comes in, it gets rather wild, transitions into to heavies and out of heavies is quite well made.
Transitions into the heavies.
This is dot points, so they don't make sense if I just read the dot point.
No, it does make sense.
When he says, we're going under in the gentier part at the end. I said that sounds great. With the clean chords over the top of the heaviness. And then outro into heavy bit was okay. The heavy bit and the vocals didn't work for me. Worst part of the song. So the heavy part at the end of the song with the vocals was one part that I didn't like as much. But then right after that, they do that really fucking heavy, djenty bit, and it was super, super creative drum work.
Right at the end.
Right at the end. Like, so the part before...
That
bit. That bit's like...
Literally, it's playing bambika, bambika. See, that's the part I'm sort of saying where it's like, it caps the album. Like, right at the very last second, I feel like that...
But that's what I was talking about
epic build-up that caps perfectly.
That's exactly right. But I think that build-up wouldn't have worked as well if they didn't do all of that soft building into that.
Yeah.
Oh man, the drum work in that end bit is so fucking cool though. Like, it's just so like bottom
the
heavy
rolling
on
drums
on every bar. It's like bottom heavy. It's just like damn, it's like right at the end.
There's no space left unfilled.
Yeah, well, they create space in the first like 2 notes of the bar, and then the last 2, like note 3 and 4, are just like full to the brim, compensating for the 2 at the start that aren't. It's like,
fuck yeah,
so heavy at the end, like some hella triplets and shit. And then suck my balls. It caught me because I was like listening to it, and I was writing as I was like the song was ending, and I'm writing it in, and I'm just like ending djent was what it was waiting for on creative drums, and it's just like suck my balls, and I'm like, sorry, go back, listen to it again. Next dot point, suck my balls. But yeah, I gave that an 8 out of 10.
Fuck yeah,
that's nice, the highest rating on the whole album. I actually fucking really like that song.
I think it's the only one you gave higher than me.
I gave that higher than Blood Eagle.
What'd you give Blood Eagle? 7?
7 out of 10.
Yeah, wow.
Which is good.
I'm glad to hear that. Like, I sort of knew you would like Blood Eagle already, but
we already talked about
glad
Blood Eagle. You showed me that.
There's like
that one time.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about it, and like, I think that's been prefaced already. But I'm glad that you've got a black sheep that, or like a diamond in the rough there that you went, holy shit, I love this. You know, so that's good.
I actually haven't given the whole album a rating though.
Well, we'll come to that. I like to give. I don't like thinking about giving the whole album a rating. I feel like it doesn't matter what you give to all the songs. The album rating's different again.
Yeah, true.
It's like what you feel when you think about the album. You know.
Yeah. So
anyway, we'll get to that. So yeah, that wraps up the album. Do you want to tell me? Well, you just did it. I was going to say you want to tell me your favourite song and why, but you've already done it.
Oh, well, my favourite song is Satellites.
Satellites was a bloody good song.
Satellites, that was my favourite song with an 8 out of 10.
I've actually gained a bit more appreciation for that song, like, over the time I've listened to it. Like, I think the first few times, I think for me, because I liked Crush so much and because it had such an epic climax at the end, I felt like when it was followed by Sentient Glow, I was a bit like deflated. I was like, I don't really care about this song. And then it sort of then sours Satellites a bit for me. I was just sort of like, that's just the rest of the album now.
Yeah, that was sort of how I was listening to it at the start as well. When I got to like those songs that I was like, I don't like this. I was like, the rest of the songs are shit. But I hadn't listened to them properly yet. Yeah,
and then you go listen to like, this is actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Now obviously like I've got a much bigger appreciation for Satellites. Like once upon a time I probably would have lumped in Satellites with Sentient Glow and given it a 6 out of 10. But since listening to it a bit more intently and realizing there's actually really good even well before that, like just realizing it's a fucking great song. And well, my favorite song's on the very other end of the album. It's Reptile.
Start and end, eh?
Yeah.
One Trevor for you.
This whole
podcast is a Trevor.
Is a Trevor. This podcast is Trevor.
We proper Trev today.
we up in this bitch Trevsy. Okay, so I want to share with you why I think this song really, like Reptile really got me.
Okay. I
was in a bit of a slump with music in finding new stuff. Like plenty of new good stuff was coming out, but it felt like a lifetime since I'd really heard something and connected with it super deeply.
Yeah. Especially
in like metalcore. Like I feel like I've had a couple of half decent winners in other music genres like in that time, but metalcore was I was just starting to be a bit disappointed that I couldn't connect with things the way I used to. and this was the song that broke that drought. Like it really, like suddenly I was like, oh my god, there's still new stuff being released that I can feel the same way about.
There's
and, like,
still more bands I haven't found already.
Yeah, and like obviously, like there's still albums that are being released that I love, really like, and I think the band's doing them, doing great things. But I can't control what clicks with me or not, you know.
But what you're saying is what's
clicked.
new, different, and fresh, and something that opens up your mind a little bit more.
Yeah, well, this is it. Maybe it was just, and it's kind of funny because the band's been around for a long time, but this album's only 2019 release, so it's relatively new.
It's pretty new, yeah.
And I first heard it like not like a couple of months after it was released, so it was still current. So yeah, it was just, this is the song that really changed it all for me. Like I was maybe just sitting there like, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And like, once again, I've already specified that I really love long songs, and, you know, like this album, like this song takes me on like a fucking odyssey, man. Like it's not just, it's a whole, everything.
A roller coaster up, down.
It's a roller coaster.
And all the way through.
Oh, it's so good. All the way to Mount Doom.
That's it.
So,
it's a whole flight.
Yep.
And it goes
and
for the entire flight.
Yeah, you fucking hell. It's not a song you can listen to in the shower.
No.
Because if your shower's going for 17 minutes, you need to fucking shorten your shower.
Yeah. Think about the children. Think about the orphans.
The orphans. And I can't listen to it driving anywhere, except maybe Port Fairy.
Yeah. Or further.
Further, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Isn't that funny? Because Awaken Providence was that for me.
The what?
Awaken Providence was that like sort of like
reawakened your
new deathcore for me. That was outside of Thy Art and outside, because I already heard, Dear Desolation, and that was sort of around the same time, and I was like, God, like nothing is giving me that. Wow, this is amazing again.
Yep.
Everything's just like, and if it's new Thy Art, it's like, yeah, great, new Thy Art, but I already know
how they
sound. I already like them. I already know how they sound. I want something fresh. I want something new. And Awaken Providence came up, and they were just like, I was like, what the hell? Like, how have I slept on these guys? Like, how have I never known about this? I was like, these guys are perfect. These are exactly what I wanted to hear. So it's really funny that this is the album you ended up picking, because that was the same for my last one for you.
What a positive coincidence.
Positive day.
Another
for
positive.
A positive podcast.
Well, given that we've just said positive things, tell me the song you fucking hated the most.
It's Only Smiles.
Yep, me too.
It was fucking
my least
terrible. God, it was awful.
I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely didn't like it. Like compared to everything else.
I hated it. I hated every minute of it. I was like, why am I listening to this?
Why'd you do this to me, Misha? This is his prank. He pranked you. He got you good.
Why am I listening to Fireflies?
The best thing I can give to this song is like, they're very brave for doing something like this.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that 100%.
But that's about all the nice I can
Just
give.
don't play it at any of your shows, please.
Yeah, I hope,
because
I don't know if they do.
Killer. Like, what the hell? People are going to a bloody Periphery fucking concert so they can listen and mosh a little bit and have a bit of fun and get all energetic. And your other music does that, and then
anyway, this is Fireflies by Owl City.
Here's Fireflies.
Anyway, he's a Wonderwall.
They didn't even gent it either. They actually played it the same. Like,
yeah,
they were just like, here is our punk.
Oh no, the guitar melody afterwards is the same melody.
But what for? Now you got to get all the way through that song. And it also goes for like 5 minutes as well. It's not like a quick song.
Yeah, most of the songs aren't short. The
They're
shortest
like
song on the album
is 4 minutes 30.
The shortest song is Sentient Glow.
Yeah, 4 minutes 30.
4 minutes, yeah.
I remember because I was like, how the fuck am I going to...
Do you want to know what the longest song is?
Is it Reptile?
Yes.
How did you know? All right. What do you rate the whole album?
9 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I think I've given the main points about why I like this album so much. But like, I think that the biggest thing is the fact that...
We're talking about the album as a whole, yeah?
Yes, this album, it reignited my love It's like obviously Reptile did that as a whole, but like at first, but the whole album, it reignited this passion I forgot I had for a lot of, you know, djent and metalcore and stuff, and it was so nice to sort of feel that way about an album again, to something I just couldn't stop listening to, you know. And you know, because of that, it got me through like I literally cannot count how many hours it must have got me through in the lab.
It's a lot of fish feeding.
In the car. Yeah, the fish feeding in the lab, like just doing tasks and just getting to know this album a bit better. And I have nothing but praise for it. Well, clearly I have some criticisms, but I love it so much. Now, the best thing that I took out of this album is I actually listened to Periphery for the first time, which means I can go on djent shit posting and talk shit about Periphery.
Maybe we'll post this up on djent shit posting.
I'm a sugar. What was your rating, Paul?
I'm going to give this album as a whole, irrelevant of the individual songs that are very good, a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, just not what I was expecting. I was expecting a higher thing after your... Like,
I'm sorry, the album just threw me in all different directions, and I really couldn't connect with it as much as I tried, and I really did try. You can hear it, you've seen it. I really did try to connect with this album.
Yeah,
and I really struggled, and even now, there's songs that I like out of it, but it's not like I'm saying I like the song and I'll listen to that song every single time. It is me saying I like parts of that song more than I like the rest of the fucking album. I don't think I'll listen to this album again. I might not be mad if Blood Eagle comes on, or if...
I will.
If Blood Eagle comes on, or if that last one, whatever it was, Satellites comes on.
Satellites, yeah.
There you go. See, like I gave it an 8 because it was the best song in the album, and it deserves an 8 because of the way it's done. But I don't think I'll go back and listen to it. I wouldn't be mad if it comes on. I'll be like, hey, this is a good one. This is that good one off Periphery's album. Hail Stand. Yeah, great song. But
Hail Stand.
Not for me.
Funny name.
Not for me.
You surprised me. I mean, maybe it's just the positive vibes we got going today, but you surprised me with the positive vibes you've given in this album. And like I appreciate that. I mean, obviously you're pretty much obliged to do it anyway for the podcast.
It took so fucking long to do this,
but I appreciate that you put the effort
sit down and analyze this thing.
And the fact that you managed to find some good in it, you know, like. Well, I think I'm a bit wishy-washy with music. Like I'm always looking for things to enjoy. And if I start to not like something, my first instinct is to try and find something to like about it. And if there's a point where I just don't like it, then I don't like it. So what? But it was good to sort of, I guess, like, you go, I'm going to give it a crack, and a red hot crack at that, and be honest about it still. It doesn't mean you're sitting there going like, oh, well, I guess it's okay. You still are like, I fucking hate this song. I gave it a 2 out of 10. But then you were able to sort of like identify things in songs that you just thought were average and be like, oh, this is actually really good. And you also recognizing that, you know, that musically they're talented fellas.
Sure are. And
very talented.
I think the truth is, you or me, you can put any song in front of us, and if you tell us to critically analyze a song, we'll find some good in it.
Yeah, for sure.
One way, shape, or form.
Just about any song.
Any song.
Literally,
any song.
I'm sure this. I can hate it so much, and I can always be like, "Well, I like how it committed to what they were doing."
At least they use a consistent chord progression.
Yeah, like something. I'd be like, "That makes sense." Yeah,
and it was kind of good, or it had a lick that I can remember, or
This is why I don't get the attitude that some people have, where they really, it's like they're trying not to like it, like some stuff.
Yeah, exactly, you know? Right. And that's what you find. Like, obviously it's shit posting, so it's one thing, but a lot of the stuff on djent shit posting is like, I hate, like, fuck error and shit. It's like, why y'all hate on error?
Why?
They're literally fucking amazing musicians. Like,
it's actually weird.
Whether you
actually
like or don't like their music, they're incredible musicians. Like,
yeah.
And if it's not for your liking, so be it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like fucking Tool, but I haven't really listened to Tool.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, and you're not really going to bother either. Like,
but if I do listen to it, I'll be like, fuck, that's really good.
Yeah, you'll probably find heaps of things in you like even, and still you could walk away from it and be like, well, never going to listen to that again.
Yeah, but hey, that was a good show.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Hey,
Yeah, their shows are fucking cool.
I'm sure they would.
They're an experience.
They'd be fucking long, that's for sure.
Yes.
Hey,
Thanks.
and the most positive piece out of Periphery's P4 Hail Stan is that the first song on their album is about as long as most other people's albums nowadays.
Yeah, I've noticed that modern albums seem to be getting shorter. Sound like
We're
an old
looking
man
at
saying
30
that,
minutes, 25 minutes for an album with like 8 songs on it, 6 songs on
Mate,
it.
that's a fucking EP.
That's an EP, man. Just because it's got a different title and it's 2 minutes long doesn't make it a song, dude. But then again, don't take 30 minutes to make a song, please. Misha. At you, bro. At you.
I say do it
Stop
because I
it.
fucking like it. Misha,
Stop, man.
Misha Mansour, fucking stop it.
Fucking stop it. Put him in some like bite-sized chunks for this fucking smooth brain over here.
It's poo brain.
It's fucking poo brain.
Oh, fuck.
I was just sending you the video of the cat with the poo brain. Oh,
Yeah. Minto.
my cat's got poo brain. It's got like when it leaves its tongue out of its mouth and it makes stupid faces. All right.
Well, it's been a good one. I
has
really
been a
like
good
this episode. It's probably one of the first ones where we've actually sort of had a bit of a contrasting opinion.
Yeah.
Like I think most of the albums we've listened to, there's been some songs, but most of the albums we listen to, we have at least similar opinions overall.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the most deviation into that was probably Make Them Suffer, Old Souls.
Yeah. I think
overall,
in this one as well, I actually wrote down, I think because it was harder for me to put down how I felt about the song and it wasn't all just like, hey, I love the song. Hey, this is great. Hey, I like this bit.
Yeah.
I actually sat down and I wrote every piece of the song as I listened to it out. I took a bit more time to actually go through it, which is what I wanted to do with the last ones, but just hadn't had a proper rhythm with our podcast yet.
Yeah,
and
just
that
go with whatever you're doing, and what's
that
comfortable.
really worked for me. I think I'll do this from now on for our podcast. It'll be a bit easier. Not easier, it'll be better.
No, it makes sense to me. But yeah, it was good to have that juxtaposition between us, I think. It was like when I was talking to Dave at one point, he said, like, you're going to have to review an album you don't like at some point.
100%.
Because like, I think the first two we'd done, we were just like, love them. It was
we're just trying to find something that we were comfortable with talking about.
Yeah.
That
That's
we knew
right.
enough
And we want to get a
about
swing
as
of
well.
things and to...
You know what I mean? But
At
even
one
back
point,
then,
we'll probably do one we both don't like.
Even back then, we wrote stuff about it, but we wrote what? We wrote like 2-3 dot points for every song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Where this,
was
I've got like,
really
I've literally
focused
got
on the
like,
lyrics.
I've got like 14, 15 dot points for like one song. This one I've got almost 20 dot points for Reptile.
Yeah, well,
You know what
that
I mean?
makes sense.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening or watching the Hamboys podcast. Yay!
Yay!
If you guys want to get in contact with us, you can find us at Hamboys Podcast on YouTube. You can find us at Hamboys Podcast on Spotify. You can find us at hamboyspod@gmail.com. That's HAMBOYSPOD@gmail.com if you want to get in contact with us. You can also jump on our Instagram at HamboysPod, and please send us whatever you want to. Send us money. We love fucking money. No. Send us some questions. Send us some albums to review. Send us whatever.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
I would love to...
Don't send us albums to review. Send us albums to have a conversation about. Because we don't do reviews here. So you would love what?
I'd love to hear what people want us to do.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear some feedback too with everything. I think we've come a long way, and we're really proud of ourselves with all of this, and we're going to stick to it because we find it really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun, and like learning so much too.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know, and
It really
like
does add
it
another
really
layer.
means so much, man. When people like even just be like, "Oh, that was really good." That's all you say. Like that fucking means the world to us. Like
That's it. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. The more, the better. And if you're watching us on Spotify, follow
us.
Follow
Yep.
us. And
Yep,
follow our
follow the
Instagram.
podcast.
Yep. Well,
there's only one thing left to say, Paul.
there's only one thing left.
Suck my balls.